Johnson and Dan Kepler, you're on.
Fort Louisiana, in the heart of the CFL Southern Division. It's the Pirates and Blue Bombers in a North versus South showdown. From Independence Stadium in Shreveport, the Blue Bombers and Pirates meet for the second and final time this season. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our coverage of the Canadian Football League on ESPN2. I'm Gus Johnson, and with a 2-3 record, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are looking to close out their fifth consecutive game against the Southern Division team with a win. But Forrest Gregg's Pirates will look to make that a tough task for them this evening as they go after their second win to go against 5 losses. And joining me now, my partner Dan Kepler. And despite both of these teams' combined records, there's a lot of talent on the field.
These records really aren't indicative of the kind of caliber that we can see out there on the field. I tell you what, there's some great athletes and some big keys in how to win this football game tonight.
Take a look at some of the keys.
For the Winnipeg Blue Bombers now, it's going to be a tough situation out here. They've got to play in this heat, but they got to go with their strength. Rush the ball with Blaze Bryant and then throw the ball to the inside slot backs and turn the heat up on Tolliver. The young defensive backs of Winnipeg have to play solid in the back end.
And for this Shreveport team, Danny, what's important for them?
Now, when this Shreveport team takes the field, Tolliver needs to slow down this fast-paced defense of Winnipeg. Use the heat, make them chase all around the field, and then defensively, they're going to have to force slack to throw the ball early. The DBs must take away the Gerald duo, the inside slots, out of this game.
And with a 3-8 combined record, neither of these teams are at the top of their divisions. In the North, it's Calgary with an unblemished record at 5-0. British Columbia right behind them at 5-1. Meanwhile, in the Southern Division, the Baltimore Stallions continue to impress in their second season. They've taken a 5-1 record and lead the South over San Antonio and Birmingham. And when you look at this Winnipeg team, Danny, they feel like this is almost their first game of the year with the return of Gerald Wilcox and Blaze Bryant.
That's exactly. Anytime that they can get this kind of people and personnel back into their lineup, they feel they can win. This is the 6th game, a third of the CFL season, and if they can come out of this at 3-3, they would be very, very happy.
A familiar name for Shreveport, Billy Joe Tolliver, a former NFL player, leading the way for the Pirates, and he's looked to do big things.
Well, he has. I mean, this is a guy that's got all the ability and talent in the world. It's a matter of just getting the feel out of it, and this offensive line gives him a little talent and a little bit of time to throw the ball. He's got great speed receivers and some pat and a guy that can carry the mail in the back end. They can get the job done.
And offensively for Shreveport, up front, Mike Stowell, the center, is their leader. Each player on their offensive line, only 2 years of CFL experience. Billy Joe Tolliver, the quarterback. And Danny, they're looking for big things from Freeman Basinger.
He's a guy. That's exactly, Gus. He's a guy that's got speed back there. They want to try to get the ball to him, and particularly special team returns.
And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in their new uniforms this season are all ready to take the field. And once again, the defense now for Winnipeg. Johnson, who's a well-traveled player, Leonard Johnson, gets a rare start at left tackle. Meanwhile, Gerald Clark is in the middle, and Ken Burris also returns kicks. He's the left halfback, along with Garrett, Watson, Cotton, and Sampson.
Young defensive backfield, and it will really be tested by a guy like Billy Joe Tolliver, who can throw the ball all over the field.
And offensively for Winnipeg, really big up front. Miles Correll, the CFL veteran, had a lot of this weekend.
Well, this came in the left tackle, number 69, and it's moved Miles Correll into the right guard position. That means they can play for the trade. David Black going to Ottawa.
Meanwhile, Reggie Slack is the quarterback. He replaces Sammy Garza, and he was traded from Birmingham earlier this year. Defensively for Shreveport, they've got a very active bunch led by Alex Mash, number 99. 3 very good linebackers in Shelton, Stuman, and Perry, and Fuller is the captain of the secondary.
Well, you got to say one thing. Having that big 95, Greg Stuman back in the middle is going to really help an already fairly tough Shreveport defense.
And the Pirates have won the toss. They will be receiving the football. 3-3 on the year. So we're underway from Shreveport. Here's Basinger, 15 to the 40-yard line before being stopped. So onto the field now for the Shreveport Pirates, Billy Joe Tolliver, the starting quarterback. He's 67 of 129 on the year. 891 yards, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. His last team was the Houston Oilers, and Billy Joe in 1989 was the 3rd quarterback taken behind Troy Aikman and Mike Elkins in the NFL draft. And Danny, he's had a little trouble adjusting to this game.
He has. That extra defensive back has really thrown him off a bit.
On first down, he's passing as a receiver, and it's broken up at the last moment. Martin Patton coming out of the backfield, and he got locked up in one-on-one coverage with a linebacker. Good play there by the Winnipeg defense.
This is where you get the ideal situation you want. You want a great fleet-footed back like Patton coming out of the backfield one-on-one against Charlie Clemens, a linebacker who weighs in at about 240 pounds. And you can see right now they're going to go to that mismatch and try to take it deep and go for the home run ball early.
Charlie Clemens, 6'1", 248, second-year player out of the University of Georgia. Makes it 2nd down and 10 from the 40. Here's Tolliver passing again to the near side. And another great defensive play by the Blue Bomber secondary. Fred Montgomery, the intended receiver, he had a step.
Post corner going back to the outside. He had 2 steps, looks like, on him, Gus. The ball hits him right in the shoulder pads. You got to catch that thing with your hands. Perfectly thrown football, and it was a good opportunity for this Shreveport offense to start off with some super momentum.
Ken Burr is there breaking it up at the last moment, and that brings on the kicking unit, the punting unit for Shreveport. This is Robbie Keene, second-year player out of California, and he has a lot of pressure, somehow gets it off. Very good punt from the 20-yard line. Alan Boyko. Boyko eludes one defender, hits positive yardage on up to the 28-yard line before going down. Alan Boyko played slot back for most of last season, moved to the secondary this year, and now goes back to the offensive side of the football. Onto the field now, Reggie Slack, the well-traveled CFL quarterback, also played 2 years with the Houston Oilers. And Slack, they're really happy with him and looking forward to some of the things he can do in the lineup.
He certainly does. He has everything you need. He has a great strong arm, and he's got some quick feet that can get him away from pressure.
Slack throwing on first down. This one incomplete. Intended for Gerald Wilcox.
We talked earlier about trying to get Wilcox back into this offensive lineup and let him be a threat like he has been over the years. He had a hip pointer in the first game of the season, and it really has thrown him off. He shot that thing up with some Novocaine and Xylocaine, and it had some bad effect on a nerve in his body, and unfortunately, that has sidelined him up until this game tonight.
2nd down and 10 from the 28. Split backfield behind Reggie Slack. 5-step drop, Slack in trouble. Now this is what he can do, is run the football. Going towards the sideline, still on his feet. Reggie Slack gets out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Greg Stuman there to push him towards the sideline.
There's been a couple of knocks against Reggie Slacks over the years about having a bad knee, not being able to really perform well. As a matter of fact, he was with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 2 years ago before he had an opportunity. They released him not thinking that he was healthy, but he's a big, strong guy, and you can see from that replay there, he's got some mobility to it. He's going to get a little help coming back from David Williams to come back and take a shot at Greg Stuman.
Gain of 14. 1st and 10 from the Winnipeg 42. Here's Blaze Bryant. Bryant breaking through the hole, finally tripped up at the 45. Greg Stuman again with the tackle, and Stuman, he's just getting back to the active roster, but there is a flag on the play. George Black, your referee.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Shreveport, number 34, 1st down.
So an unnecessary roughness call against Ron Perry will give the Blue Bombers great field position inside Shreveport territory.
What you try to do defensively, anytime you go on the field, particularly early in the game, you want to try to create some intimidation factor out there. And Ron Perry got caught with the unnecessary roughness call.
On first down, this is Brian, and he and Reggie Slack trip over each other in the backfield. Brian lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Alex Mash, the closest Shreveport defender to him. But Blaze Bryant coming back last year, he was 3rd in the CFL in rushing and an all-Eastern selection. This is a big part of this Winnipeg team.
It really is. Not only is he such a key as far as running the ball, he's a great pass receiver, but what is really important is his leadership on the team.
2nd down and 10. 3-step drop for Slack, going over the middle as a receiver, and the ball is dropped. Gerald Alphin, a wide open Gerald Alphin, lets the ball come right out of his hands. He had a touchdown in front of him.
He knew exactly, as far as Slack, where he wanted to go. He sprinted out away from Gerald Alphin. The safety is out of the middle, fakes to the corner. Now he comes back. He gets inside of Joe Fuller. The ball is perfectly thrown, and just you're seeing something that doesn't normally happen, and that is a great receiver losing that one little inch and second of concentration.
Brings on Troy Westwood in to attempt a 51-yard field goal. He's 0 for 1 from this distance. And he will be 0 for 2. Freeman Basinger returning it out of the end zone. Up to the 25, make it the 27-yard line. Troy Westwood unable to convert on the 51-yard field goal. A flag is on the play, so with 11:14 remaining in the first quarter, there's still no score from Shreveport. The CFL on ESPN2 is being brought to you by Firestone Retailers. Come in now during the hot summer sale, and by Polymedica Industries Incorporated. Forrest Gregg, the legendary Green Bay Packer, and had success with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. Also coached his former team, the Green Bay Packers, in the National Football League, and he's here in the CFL and trying to make a winner out of this Shreveport Pirate organization. And
that's the guy right there that he's looking to help make a winner of this. Billy Joe Tolliver, well-traveled NFL guy. Then we get to look at Cal Murphy on the other side.
Cal Murphy, veteran CFL coach. He's been with BC, Montreal, Edmonton. In '83, he joined Winnipeg and brought the first Grey Cup to the city in 22 years. In 1984, his 9th season, 82-48-3 record. Interesting stories about Cal Murphy, and we'll get to him a little bit later on, but he's a dynamic coach and person. On first down, here's Patton straight ahead, plenty of room. Gets up to the 35, mark at the 36-yard line.
Little change up front with this offensive line. Big Ben Jefferson is out at right tackle, and they move Donnell Johnson over to the right side and bring in Uzo Okeke to play the left tackle backside, and he does a good job of walling that off, and that's just where Patton was able to find just a little bit of a seam and pick up some big yardage, make it 2nd and about 1.
Greg Clark with the tackle. Here's Patton again, dancing his way through the hole, breaks out at the 45, up to the 50. Martin Patton gets up to close to midfield. Some pretty shifty running for the second-year running back out of Texas A&I.
Take a look, he gets the ball deep, but see the quick feet. He makes the break way back behind where it was jammed up. That play was designed to go off the right tackle, but they call it a search series. So all they do is they give it to him deep, and he searches for the opening, and he found a big spot there.
Gain of 19. Patton averaging 5.2 yards per carry, 1st and 10 from the 53. Here he is again. And Patton, here he goes at the 35, and he finally goes down deep inside Winnipeg territory, inside the Blue Bombers 15. Martin Patton in the first quarter. Some very impressive running for the Shreveport Pirates. Daryl Sampson with the tackle. Gain of 48.
No place to go. They jam it up. Stan Mikuwas jams it up in the middle, but Patton just keeps those legs churning, comes out, breaks out into the opening, and picks up big yardage as Daryl Sampson had to come from the safety position to make the tackle.
First down and 10 from the Winnipeg 14. 3 receivers to the far side of the field. This is Bradford. Norman Bradford, the fullback, out of the backfield. Rookie out of Grambling. Stopped by Doug Hocking.
Gus, historically, this Winnipeg defense has been a tough one to ever move the ball against, particularly against the rush. But now Billy Joe Tolliver's starting to mix it up a bit. You've got a great effort by Patton inside, but all of a sudden, Bradford comes out. They want to dump it. They want to get his speed outside, and they're making this Winnipeg defense move all over the field, and chasing people down is going to really test their conditioning.
Gain of 5, 2nd and 5 from the 9, out of the shotgun. Tolliver going in the end zone, and it's almost intercepted at the last moment. The intended receiver, Fred Montgomery, had the football but couldn't haul it in.
Good blocking up front, very sound protection, and it allowed Tolliver to take that 3-step drop, turn, and as Freddie Montgomery went down, he just ran a little simple curl route, started to come back toward Billy Joe, and Billy Joe is still one of those quarterbacks that can put a little zip on the ball, and it went right through Montgomery's hands.
Billy Joe Tolliver in his first game as a starting quarterback in the National Football League threw for 350 yards, the 4th highest ever by a rookie in the NFL at that time. And right now, we'd like to welcome all the TSN viewers across Canada. We're in Independence Stadium here in Shreveport, Louisiana. Junior Smith with the carry there, and so far the story of this game has been the impressive running in the first quarter of Martin Patton, breaking 3 big ones off to get the Pirates down deep in Winnipeg territory. Not exactly this kind of guy that you think is going to have the power to get it up inside. Junior Smith out of East Carolina University, 5'6", only about 188 pounds. Brings up 2nd down from the 5-yard line. Tolliver in the end zone, incomplete. Intended for number 88, Terry Smith. Billy Joe throws it behind him, and that'll bring up a 3rd down situation and the kicking team. Gus, let's take a look at this. As Sampson, you can see, is the safety coming over, and he's going to poach inside. The ball is thrown behind. Had the ball been thrown clearly up the field to where Terry Smith, the new addition to this roster, was going to be, that ball had a good chance of being picked off. But the one thing I saw that maybe we didn't get a chance to was as the whole offensive line and defensive line opened up, Billy Joe Tolliver had about 10 yards that he could have ran that ball right into the end zone. 13-yard field goal attempt for Bjorn Nitmo. He's 11 of 13 on the year, 84%. Little chip shot here, and it's good. 7 minutes, 53 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play from Shreveport. Pirates have taken a 3-0 lead. A 13-yard field goal by Bjorn Nitmo is giving this Shreveport Pirates team a 3-0 lead. And Danny, when you look at a team like Shreveport, they're 1-5. Scoring points early, that's the kind of confidence they need to sustain drives and momentum in ball games. Well, what's important there, you're right, Gus, they scored some points, but what they were able to do, they were able to move the ball very aggressively against a tough defense, both by the run and they dumped it off by the pass. So they really, if it was 2 and out, it would be a tough situation for them. But Billy Joe Tolliver is starting to show like he's got a little confidence. Patton has got some confidence, and as soon as those guys start having that big offensive line up front, can make a lot of things happen. Forrest Gregg spent 14 years with the Green Bay Packers, played in 187 consecutive games, 9 times straight All-Pro. And on first down, Blue Bombers letting the ball fly in the air. Anthony Shelton with the tackle, reception made by Gerald Wilcox. One of the first receptions that this receiver has made since coming back. He's missed 4 games. And I talked with him a little bit in the hotel right before. He says, I'm not worried about catching the ball. I'm not worried about my feet, but I'm worried about a little bit about my conditioning. And am I able to sustain running the way that I have to run in this kind of heat? Gain of 6 yards, 2nd down and 4 from the 41. Slack rolling to the near side. Looks like there was a miscommunication problem there. No receiver in sight. Fred Ward, closest man to the football. Gerald Wilcox was also in the vicinity, and it looked like as Reggie Slack was coming out to sprint out, he was looking for that slot back just to run down, kind of hook it up, and then slide to the outside. But that just didn't happen. Miscommunication. You see Forrest Gregg giving a little bit of instructions there. Coach Greg won 5 NFL championship rings with the great Green Bay Packer teams. Right now his team is leading 3-0. Bob Cameron sending it away. This one angled toward the near side. Freeman Basinger from the 25. And Basinger will go backwards.
Basinger on the return. Paul Randolph on the tackle for Winnipeg.
Paul Randolph makes the tackle for Winnipeg, the veteran linebacker. So the Pirates come back onto the field. Billy Joe Tolliver. And for a quarterback that's played in the NFL, what are the main differences between what he sees in the National Football League as opposed to here in the Canadian Football League?
Well, obviously the main difference is going to be that extra defensive back that you're going to see. But I think what you're not going to be used to is some of the speed of these defensive linemen, the way they're going to get off that ball and get in your face in a hurry. And that really does pose a problem for Tolliver.
Junior Smith carrying the ball on first down, the rookie running back out of East Carolina. Bill McCollins with the tackle. And a number of the players here on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers team have played in the Mississippi Delta. Had a chance to speak to a very interesting man in the hotel this week.
Yeah, we sure will. And I tell you what, we'll pick up on that in just a minute when we got a little time to talk some more about that right after this play.
2nd down and 10, no gain on the last play. Here's Tolliver out of the gun. Flags all over the field. And a legal procedure called against Shreveport. Pirates have been penalized.
Procedure. Shreveport, number 66. 2nd down repeated.
Pirates have been penalized 53 times on the year for 401 yards.
Take a look right at the left guard position. Going to make that quick move, and that foot's going to come up, and he's going to plant himself down. And they call illegal procedure immediately.
2nd and 15 from their own 22. Tolliver under pressure, and he goes down. The big play made for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers by number 48, Charlie Clemens. That's his 3rd sack of the season.
Clemens is the guy that played out of Georgia, and he's got great speed, and you can see just how he gets one-on-one against Uzo Okeke. He just pressures him, powers him back. Okeke just had slow feet, wasn't able to get anything going, and allowed Clemens to be able to come inside. And when that quarterback, Billy Joe Tolliver, takes such a short drop, it makes it an easier line for those outside guys when they come hard off the edge.
Robbie Keane averaging 43.8 yards per punt this season, standing at his own goal line. Alan Boyko back deep for the Bombers. Ken Burris will handle this one inside his own 40. Burris goes down. Terry Smith with the tackle for Shreveport. 4:48 left in the first quarter play. Pirates still hanging on to a 3-0 lead. Martin Patton has been the difference for Shreveport in the first quarter. Number 5, 3 carries for 76 yards, and the Pirates lead Winnipeg 3-0. But the Bombers are back on offense right now as Reggie Slack tries to get some kind of drive going with 4:48 remaining in the first quarter of play. Reggie Slack played the first 2 games of this year with the Birmingham Barracudas, traded for Fred Childress, a guard. Last season played 7 games with Toronto and 7 games with Hamilton. And I remember calling a couple of games with Hamilton last year, Danny. At the end of the year, Slack really started to come into his own.
Yes, he really did. I mean, I think he was feeling healthier. He was starting to get game after game with the same team, but more importantly, with the same personnel, so they were getting some cohesiveness of how to work together.
So he'll start from the 48. Passing on first down, plenty of time, going over the middle. Incomplete. Gerald Wilcox, the intended receiver. Pretty good defensive coverage by Harold Nash.
Nash does a great job because he's got tremendous speed as far as his closing speed. Just going to the out, and Nash makes a hard cut away from the ball, and as Wilcox is there, look at the amount of ground that Nash makes up. He was a good 6 or 7 yards deep, waiting for Wilcox to take it to the corner, but then he closed very quickly.
Harold Nash played only 1 year of high school ball at St. Augustine's in New Orleans, one of the top high school programs in the country. That year they went 12-1. Second down. Slack in trouble. He's got plenty of room on the near side. Gives Ray Savage a juke, but goes down at the 54-yard line. Savage, rather Ron Perry, with the tackle. And that's when Reggie Slack is really dangerous.
Going to sprint out here, but they get great containment up front. That's Ray Savage that forces him back out of the pocket. Now here's just a terrific one-on-one tackle in the open field. Reggie Slack, he's 6'2", about 215, 220 pounds. He's a big man, but Ron Perry does an excellent job of cutting him down before he gets to the first down.
Bob Cameron in his 16th season in the Canadian Football League. He was a all-star quarterback in college at Arcadia. Was known as the Canadian Rifle, but has found a job in the CFL for 16 years as a punter, averaging 43 yards a punt this year. Here's Basinger at the 15. And a flag goes down. This will be the 5-yard, no yards penalty. Basinger wrapped up pretty hard by Watson.
Basinger receiving the punt. Tackle made by Darius Watson.
That's what's going to happen. Darius Watson's going to get called for the no yards penalties. As you may know, again, and remember, in the Canadian Football League, there's no fair catches, but there's a 5-yard zone.
No yards. Winnipeg number 44. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Now they're going to call it on Katie Williams, the linebacker. There's one as Watson is right there. That looks like the closest guy, and 44 is there, so take your choice. Both of them within the 5-yard penalty zone.
And instead of a 5-yarder, they give him a 15-yarder.
At a 15-yarder penalty, because neither one of these guys are making an effort to get away from the ball and try to give the 5 yards, Gus.
So they'll march it 15 yards towards the Winnipeg goal line. And Billy Joe Tolliver and the offense start first and 10 from their own 31. Split backfield. Bradford in motion out of the backfield. Tolliver underneath, incomplete. Intended for Fred Montgomery. He drops the football.
Just about the same kind of pass that we saw down on the goal line earlier, except it was just on the opposite side of the field. They're going to take it down, throw the curl route. And here's where I think maybe Billy Joe Tolliver needs to have a little bit more of the touch on the ball. Montgomery gets shoved a bit by the outside linebacker. That's Doug Hawkins. The ball is thrown just to the left-hand side of the outstretched hands of Montgomery.
Second down and 10 from the 31. Complete to Curtis Mayfield, and he goes down hard. Great defensive play by Greg Clark. And a holding penalty called against the Pirates. Greg Clark, the inside linebacker, third-year player out of Arizona.
Holding. Shreveport number 65. Penalty is declined. Third down.
John Heidenreich, the right guard, getting called for offensive holding. And sometimes that's going to happen. You got a great, fast, speedy defensive line, but you can see as Katie Williams makes the move to the inside, Heidenreich just kind of arm bars him and takes him down.
Robbie Keane punting for the third time, standing at his 20. Shannon Garrett back deep for the Blue Bombers. And Keane hits a bomb. This one all the way back and into the end zone. That's a single point in the Canadian Football League. Robbie Keane just unloaded on that punt, and it gives the Pirates a 4-0 lead.
What a howitzer that came off Keane's foot. Kenny Burgess was giving him plenty of room, thinking that this guy could kick the ball 50 or 60 yards.
Robbie King, previously, his long 66 yards, delivers an 84-yard punt right there. And he's obviously getting congratulated by his teammates.
Gus, it's important there. You can see that where everybody is starting to help out a bit. The offense is scoring a few points and moving the ball. The defense and the special teams are starting to help out.
And Blaze Bryant carrying the football on first down, tackled by Eldonta Osborne, second-year player out of LSU.
Eldonta, one of the guys that played 17 games last year with the Shreveport Pirates, getting guys like Greg Stuman in there and Ron Perry. This is a linebacking core that is their second year together, and you can start to see they are really playing together as a unit.
Gain of only 2, 2nd and 8. And Slack in trouble, and he goes down in his own backfield. The sack coming from Ben Williams, his 4th of the year. He leads the Pirates in sacks, and the Shreveport defense coming up big in the early goings of the first half.
Good coverage downfield by this secondary, and Ben Williams just keeps working. The big, powerful fella. He's not that big at 6 foot, about 258 pounds, out of Minnesota.
Williams was 3rd on the team in sacks last year with 7, but already in his 7th game this season, he's got 4. Bob Cameron from his own 17. And this one is partially blocked. Picked up, and a flag goes on the play. Freeman Basinger still running. Basinger will walk into the end zone. Touchdown Shreveport.
That's the only thing that can be the call now. The punter is the only guy in the Canadian Football League. When he punts it, he's onside. He's behind the ball. So he is allowed to go down and be able to recover that ball. Now, if one of these flags happens to be on Bob Cameron, it's not. They're calling the no yards against Winnipeg. So therefore, they will decline it. The touchdown will stand.
Winnipeg, penalty is declined. Touchdown.
And those are part of the rules in the Canadian Football League. Freeman Basinger, smart enough to pick it up and take it back for a score. 45 yards.
You could hear that this is going to happen on the sideline. The guy that comes through, that's Norman Bradford, gets a piece of the ball. Now, as you see, number 6, Bob Cameron is onside. He is eligible to come down the field and to recover. You can see number 6 is in the middle of the screen. But right at the last minute, Basinger finds the ball, picks it up before Bob Cameron has a chance to recover that ball.
Bjorn Nickmo for the extra point, and it's good. And the 1-5 Shreveport Pirates have come out and surprised Cal Murphy's Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They've taken an 11-0 lead with 24 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play.
Not a very good effort of the punt team right up front, blocking your man. There's an old term that says you got to hot your man. You got to put your head on the torso and hot the guy. Now take a look. Here's real heads-up play. Basinger's coming in right at the last minute. Everybody's trying to get away. It looks like you can see that some of the young players on Shreveport are not exactly sure what to do with that football. But Basinger knows. He's been around for a while. Comes in there. Everybody's standing around. He's able to get outside, finds a little crease, and when he's got that kind of speed that he possesses, you're not going to get him till he does this kind of dance.
First return for a touchdown for the Pirates this season. Freeman Basinger, who also is a receiver on offense, makes it an 11-0 game with a 45-yard return.
That's kind of a big thing, too, for Basinger, because last week, a couple of weeks ago in Winnipeg, he was one of the guys that fumbled one of the punts into the end zone, and Winnipeg recovered and gave him a big opportunity and a big score at one time. So maybe he had some little redemption in there, and he went out there and took it on himself. He makes a lot of things happen once he gets his hands on the ball and he gets a little grass in front of him.
Last time these two teams met, it was in Winnipeg when the Blue Bombers walked away with a 37-29 victory against Shreveport. But talking to their coaches, the coaches from Winnipeg, they're really afraid of all the speed that this Shreveport team possesses. Here's Fred Ward. Straight ahead, Ward goes down at the 33-yard line, make it the 34.
Fred Ward on the return for the man.
Terry Smith with the tackle. That's his second tackle on special teams. And Freeman Basinger, bandana and all, 45-yard return for a touchdown. Out of Humboldt. Injured player on the field, Terry Smith, who made the special teams tackle on Freddie Ward.
Take a look as he comes in there right at the last minute. He gets a great contact with the shoulder, but one of his own players looked as he came by and clipped him down in the knee, and the medical staff of Shreveport is taking a good look at that left knee.
Well, Sunday night baseball, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Mo Vaughn and the Boston Red Sox in the middle of a pennant race, leading the American League East as they take on Roberto Alomar and the Toronto Blue Jays, who are still the world champion Toronto Blue Jays after the strike last season.
Yeah, but Gus, me and you were talking about it. You're pretty excited living in New York City. The Yankees have been doing a lot of stuff. They got some players on the field now, don't they?
Well, the straw man is in the lineup with 1 for 4 yesterday, along with Ruben Sierra as well as David Cone pitching. So Bombers are looking to do some good things as the season draws to a close. First and 10 from the 31. Slack trying to set up, fumbles the football, and it's recovered by a Blue Bomber. The center jumping on that one, Dave Von Gunnett.
Same play that they had run earlier when he broke on the scramble, but Shreveport does an excellent job. Look at the good containment on the outside. That's Ray Savage again. And as they come back inside, 99 is Alex Mash that gets his hands out and strips the ball loose.
And we're at the end of the first quarter of play with the Shreveport Pirates ahead of Winnipeg, 11-0 from Shreveport. We're at the beginning of the second quarter of play. Shreveport leading Winnipeg 11-0, and Reggie Slack on second down. An incomplete pass intended for David Williams, and the Winnipeg offense goes off the field once again after another unproductive possession. Slack.
Yeah, looking very disturbed as he walked off the sideline there, and you could see the expression on Coach Cal Murphy's face, a bit of frustration on his too.
Slack is 1 for 6, 64 yards. Here's Cameron. Nice spiraling bunt, sending Basinger back to his own 26. Basinger heading upfield and finally goes down at the 45, but there is a flag on the play.
Yes, I think they're going to be bringing it back. It looked like Junior Smith got caught for an illegal block, a clip. There's times out there you just have to be very disciplined.
Illegal block. Shreveport #1. First down.
Junior Smith, rookie out of ECU, with the penalty.
Right there in the middle of your screen. No sense to even put your hands on the guy like that. If you can't get your head in front and where it's going to be at least a close block, you're hitting him right in the middle of the back, these officials are going to call you.
Smith trying to block Doug Hocking. Pushes the Pirates back, first and 10 from the 22. Another penalty flag. It looks like it'll be a legal procedure called against the Pirates again.
Some of those big offensive linemen just trying to get a quick jump.
Procedure. Shreveport #68. First down repeated.
Donnell Johnson, the right tackle, with the illegal procedure call, and for a Hall of Fame offensive lineman, Vince Lombardi called him the finest football player that he's ever seen in Forrest Gregg. I'm sure he definitely doesn't like to see that from his offensive line.
Not at all. At 6'8", 300 pounds, he's hard to miss when he does decide to move.
First and long. Tolliver throwing underneath. Complete. This is Smith. Terry Smith gets a block. He's at the 40-yard line. Terry Smith finally walked down inside the 25. Darrell Sampson with the saving tackle.
To his credit, Billy Joe Tolliver stands in there. He knows he's going to get thumped when he releases this ball. Steps up into the pocket. It's a duck. But Terry Smith makes a great adjustment to come back to the ball as it's really kind of going end over end. And makes a big play. Tolliver gets hit. The ball's hung up. He's in a one-on-one coverage against Doug Hawkins. The linebacker should be a mismatch. And Terry Smith shows some great speed, but not quite as fast as Darrell Sampson, the safety.
72-yard reception for Terry Smith. First and 15 from the 22 towards the end zone. Catch made by Freeman Basinger at the 2-yard line. Great ability to cradle the football before going out of bounds.
When you have a stand-up pocket passer like this and you're able to give him some time to throw the ball and allow that receiver to do his shake and bake downfield, great results happen. Now, as Billy Joe comes back, it's just a 4-step drop, and he's going to be a quick post corner. Basinger does a great job of looking the ball in, dragging his foot in. As you know, in the Canadian Football League, you only have to have 1 foot in bounds, and that's a pinpoint passing by the quarterback, Billy Joe Tolliver.
13-11 remaining in the second quarter. Pirates threatening to go in the end zone again. First down, goal to goal from the 2. Patton. Touchdown, Shreveport.
Gus has got the people on their feet here in Shreveport. Good play selection all the way up and down the field for the Shreveport offense.
13:01 remaining in the second quarter, and Martin Patton takes 2 yards for the score.
Blocked down, a pull out by John Heidenreich. The guard, and all Patton does is follow that big guard, that 315 pounds, right up to shoot and gets the ball in the end zone.
And we'll have a offside penalty called against Winnipeg. Some movement on the left side.
Offside, Winnipeg number 22. Penalty will apply in the kickoff.
Ken Burris trying to get a jump. And they'll mark this one off on the kickoff. Cal Murphy can't be too pleased with the way his team's playing right now. Down 17-0. And Bjorn Nitmo makes it a 18-0 game. With 12:26 remaining in the second quarter of play, and Pirates looking good so far. 17-2. Shreveport, Louisiana, Independence Stadium in the heartland of the CFL Southern Division, and the Pirates, who came into this game with only 1 win, lead 18-0 with 12:26 remaining in the second quarter of play.
Dustin, they played a very solid game in every phase of football right now, as far as offensively, defensively, and the special teams. Take a look at the scoring drive there. 4 plays, 95 yards, and that's Patton on a 2-yard TD run.
Bjorn Nitmo will kick it off from the 35, rather from the 40. 5-yard penalty on the extra point against Ken Burris. Fred Ward back deep for Winnipeg, along with Shannon Garrett. This will be Ward from the 6. Fumbles the ball, swatted out of bounds, and the Blue Bombers get a lucky bounce. They'll hold on to the football.
That's another different rule in the Canadian Football League. Now watch as this ball jumps out. You do not have to have possession. Last touch constitutes possession. So let's see if this ball is touched before it hits the white line. No, not at all. Nitmo just made a heck of an effort to get over there and put his left arm out, but the ball just barely touched the paint. Had that happened, had Nitmo made the contact with the ball before it hit the out-of-bounds line, then it would have been possession to Shreveport.
Your Nitmo spent some time rather in the National Football League with the New York Giants. Has been a well-traveled player playing in the WLAF and the CFL. On first down, this is Blaze Bryant trying to get outside, but it won't happen. Eldonta Osborne, second-year player out of Louisiana Tech, makes the stop.
Linebacker 6'1", 230. As he said, out of Louisiana Tech. He's from Jonesboro, Louisiana. Great speed, played 17 games last year for this Pirate defense. And he led the Pirate defense on special team tackles. Great pursuit, great technique once he gets there.
Gain of only 2, second down 8. And it's broken up. Ron Perry, the second time he's come up with a big play, extends himself and backs it away. And the Shreveport defense has gotten this crowd excited here at Independence Stadium.
Gus, this is an opportunity where the defense is helping the offense and the offense is taking the heat off the defense. These guys have not had the opportunity through the course of the season to get enough rest. They usually have been out there. The offense has sputtered a bit, 2 and out, and the defense has played a lot. But now you can see Billy Joe Tavler moving the offense up and down the field. And then when this defense gets a chance to go out there on the field, they've got the stamina, they've got the quickness, and they make big plays.
Basinger at the 47, and he goes down immediately. Flags on the play. No yards penalty coming up.
Darius Watson, the halfback, I think got caught up in what he did. He just lost the side of the ball where the flight was.
No yards. Winnipeg number 26. First down.
So nothing going right for Cal Murphy's team at this point as they trail 18-0 in the second quarter. 10-yard penalty assessed against the Blue Bombers. Pirates will start from the Winnipeg 48. To the far side, complete and out of bounds. Great catch by Wayne Walker, and that's something that Billy Joe Tolliver has done before. Walker and Tolliver played pitch and catch for 4 seasons at Texas Tech.
They really did. Tolliver came into this game having 3 touchdown catches from Tolliver, and they're working on Curtis Cotton, the outside new cornerback. This is a big guy. He's in there at about 6 foot, 215 pounds, just getting his first start. And this is going to be a real challenge when you got to run one-on-one every play with a guy like Wayne Walker.
32-yard reception. First down from the 16, inside handoff. This is Bradford, and Bradford fumbles the football. And it's recovered by Winnipeg. So we have our first turnover of the ball game. Number 95, Leonard Johnson, who received a rare start this evening at left tackle, comes up with his first fumble recovery of the year.
Great pursuit from the backside by Charlie Clemens and strips the ball loose inside. Leonard Johnson, one of the guys there also. And when you get the ball deep into that red zone the way it is, you really have to hold on to it. Take a look at why these two teams are really struggling, Gus. Both of them are in the minus categories in the giveaway, takeaway
category. First and 10 from the 13. Slack in trouble again. Still on his feet, fires and has a receiver. This is Gerald Wilcox.
Slack's pass is complete. Gerald Wilcox.
And talking about making something out of nothing, Slack in trouble. Had the composure to set his feet and deliver a strike to Wilcox.
And what happens when you work with a really good veteran receiving core, as Winnipeg does have, They know that they look back, see their quarterback in trouble. They look to the open spot and find a place to find so that Reggie Slack can do exactly what we just saw. Make a completion to him.
Gain of 13. First down from the 27. This is Bryant with the blocker. Bryant over the 30. Tackled at the 31-yard line. Reggie Rogers with the tackle for Shreveport. Rogers was the 7th overall pick by the Detroit Lions in the 1987 draft, but there is a flag on the play.
Trying to run that counter trap using the youngster Kenny Brown. The starting left tackle and pulling, but we'll listen to the penalty.
Holding, Winnipeg number 60. First down repeated.
Dave Van Conant, the center, gets called for holding, Gus.
Second penalty called against Van Conant today. Drives the Blue Bombers back towards their own end zone.
Take a look at the center, right underneath Reggie Slack. He's going to pull out, grab the arm bar there, and as he hooks him around, he puts both arms around him and takes him straight down on the ground.
Back to live action, another great play by Reggie Rogers as he tackles Blaze Bryant in the backfield.
Very slow developing play. Again, when you're going to search draw and you give it deep to a guy like Blaze Bryant, this Shreveport defense has got great speed and they pursue to the ball. And when they do, they make you pay. As you can see, Blaze Bryant is slow getting up.
Blaze Bryant played in 16 games last year, left the team after suffering a torn anterior cruciate ligament. This is his first game back, and he's coming back from an injury.
He is, and that's the thing that Cal Murphy was excited about with this team. As far as the 6th game of the season, he's starting to get back some of his injured players that really do produce some offensive weapons for Winnipeg.
Blaze Bryant being tended to. It looks like his left knee is being looked at.
Raj Hodgkinson, the trainer of Winnipeg, is out there taking a look at it. Head coach Cal Murphy's gotten rid of the baseball cap, and you can see the look in this whole staff over there. They're a little bewildered right now, and I think that Shreveport's just come in here and just caught them completely off guard of being up 18-0 with 9:05 to go in the second quarter.
And it's always a scary moment when a tailback goes down and they're looking at one of his knees, and that's exactly what they're doing right now with Blaze Bryant.
Well, it puts him in a tough situation.
Now don't forget, baseball across America, Monday 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 3:30 p.m. Pacific. The Prince Williams Cannons versus the Durham Bulls. And Prince Williams used to be a Yankees affiliate outside of Washington, D.C. and Northern Virginia.
Those Durham boys are down from where I'm from, around down in Charlotte, North Carolina, going back home.
So Blaze Bryant is taken off the field, and Reggie Slack now has a interesting situation in front of him right now.
Gus, he really does, only because they just, for the Canadian-based teams, they don't have the depth on their squad like the American-based teams have. And we'll get into some of the rulings down there. As far as the Canadian-based teams, they have to play 20 nationally born Canadians on their team. So therefore, in this case, Winnipeg only dressed that tailback, Blaze Bryant. They don't have another speedy, fleet-footed guy. The guy that comes in there to take place is Alan Wetmore, who is out of the Acadia University in Canada.
Second down long for Winnipeg. And Slack is dumped again. This time, Johnny Scott with the tackle in the Winnipeg backfield. And Johnny Scott picks up his first sack of the season, the 6'2", 264-pound second-year player.
This is all coverage sack down there. Look, take a look. Reggie Slack can't find anybody to throw the ball to, and that gives Johnny Scott enough time to work upfield against Walby and then come back inside and make the sack.
Johnny Scott did not attend college. His second season with Shreveport. Third down. Cameron 2 yards deep in his own end zone. Not a very good kick, low. Fielded at the 52, a fumble. Whistles on the play. It's recovered by the Blue Bombers.
Gus, but I think what they're going to call is that he went down and the ground cannot cause the fumble.
Eight minutes, 15 seconds remaining in the second quarter. 18-0 your score. At Independence Stadium, Billy Joe Tolliver has his team on top of Winnipeg, 18-0. Tolliver signed during the offseason for over $300,000 a year. At one time, lost his starting job to Mike Johnson, who was the starting quarterback until he went out with a broken leg. But this evening, Tolliver doing a pretty good job, 5 of 10 for 137 yards on the night. And we haven't gotten out of the first half yet. 8:12 left in the second quarter of play.
Getting a lot of help from his teammates out there. That offensive line is buying some time for him, giving him some protection, and he's got some guys that are making some catches, and a guy named Martin Patton who is carrying it out of the backfield and making a lot of things happen. Defensively, they're getting some balls around, they're turning it over, and they're stopping Winnipeg and not allowing them to move the ball up and down the field on them.
Billy Joe made a lot of stops in the NFL, playing for San Diego, Atlanta, and Houston. Holds every passing record out of Texas Tech in the Southwest Conference. First and 10, reverse. This is Basinger. Has plenty of room. Gets a block from Tolliver. Freeman Basinger out of bounds at the 40. Flags are on the play, but Billy Joe Tolliver got his nose a little bit dirty. Came up with a great block to spring the speedy Basinger.
Utilizing the speed on this team and also trying to take advantage of the speed of this Winnipeg defense. Get them going one way, get them chasing, now send it back the other way. Basinger comes in there. There's a little bit of a block. Tolliver didn't get much, but he got enough to knock Katie Williams off his feet. And Basinger gets laced into the wall on the other side.
A gain of 14 yards. A penalty is being called on the play.
Necessary roughness. Winnipeg number 26. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Darius Watson called for the unnecessary roughness call. So along with the 14-yard run, add 15 more yards to it.
Take a look. Basinger is clearly out of bounds. A couple of hands get on him and he slides into it. There's not much room once you get off the playing field before you hit the wall. As you just saw, Basinger was able to slide in there and not have to hit it too hard, and he's back on the playing field.
Winnipeg's been called for 7 penalties. 70 yards in the first half. And here's Patton stumbling ahead. Martin Patton tackled by Stan Mikawa, the veteran nose guard for Winnipeg.
This team, they just started to gel together, and big things are happening to create some momentum and some motivation, and that fella there has had a lot to do with it through the course of this first half. Basinger.
Martin Patton, 5 carries, 88 yards. Second down and 4. Plenty of time for Billy Joe Tolliver to the near side, complete. This is Curtis Mayfield. Mayfield goes down at the 15. Close to the first down. Doug Hocking with the tackle.
Let's take a good look at the number of penalties there. There's 7 penalties so far, 70 yards for Winnipeg, just like you had said earlier. 3 of those against Darius Watson, number 26. Now they're going to measure on this, and it'll be really, really close, and just the kind of thing that could be a true momentum builder. It's third down and only inches, but you know, in the Canadian Football League, the defense has to line up a yard off the ball. So you can see a big guy like Tolliver just taking it, quarterback sneaking, keeping this first down and making a possession drive out of it for the Shreveport Pirates.
No doubt, usually in the CFL on third down in short situations, because of the alignment, the 1-yard alignment off the ball, most teams always go for it. And as you see, Tolliver still on the field.
I'm not screaming at you. I'm talking to you like a man. I'm telling you that was a bullshit call.
Third down and short from the 15. And Tolliver goes straight ahead and picks up the first down. Running between Mike Stowell and John Heidenreich.
Now those are two pretty safe bookends to run between. Stowell comes in about 6'3", 295. John Heidenreich 6'6", 315 listed in the program. I'd feel pretty safe running behind him.
So the Pirates pick up a first down, and they're on Winnipeg's 14-yard line. 6:08 remaining in the second quarter. Tolliver letting it fly again. Incomplete. In and out of the hands of Norman Bradford, who had lined up as a wide receiver, but there is a flag in the backfield of Shreveport.
Very late flag, Gus. The last time that Shreveport was able to get down here, they lost the ball on a fumble.
Could be another unnecessary roughness call.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Winnipeg number 95, half the distance, first down.
Leonard Johnson, fourth-year player out of Georgia Military, with an unnecessary roughness call.
We don't see much happening right now, right at the last minute. The flag comes down after the fact. That ball's been thrown, but the play took place just to the right of your screen. Johnson and an offensive lineman of Shreveport got into it, and Johnson gets called.
Half the distance to the goal line from the 8-yard line. This is Martin Patton, and he gets to the 5. One thing I like about Patton is he continues to always fall forward.
Got great momentum, and he looks like he has terrific, quick feet with that excellent balance. Like you said, that head is always pointing toward the goal line.
Patton was all Lone Star first team, averaging 73 yards per game when he was at Texas A&I, transferred from the University of Miami back to Texas A&I. Second down and 5. Incomplete, intended for Basinger. Also on the play, Wayne Walker. Billy Joe Tolliver going down. Had a whole lot of pressure being applied to him. K.D. Williams on top of him.
Tolliver's going to come back. His 5-step drop. He wants to throw the out, but as he throws the ball, he gets solid pressure up front by Bill McCollins. And also K.D. Williams was doing an excellent job of doing as far as getting up the field, getting into Billy Tolliver's face, and having him to throw the ball over the intended receiver.
So Bjorn Nitmo, the left-footed kicker, comes on for another 13-yard field goal. Spotted on the right hash mark, and he drills it. So with 4 minutes and 57 seconds remaining in the second quarter, Shreveport has taken a 21-0 lead.
Holding, Winnipeg number 53. First down repeated.
So on first down, a holding penalty called against Ed Cousy, backup right guard. And the penalties continue to mount for the Blue Bombers. 87 yards, 9 penalties. First and 20. Slack breaks contain, and Slack goes down at the 30-yard line. Gain of about 5. Eldonta Osborne with the tackle.
Good job again in this Shreveport secondary as far as staying with the receivers, playing a good solid zone, forcing Slack to have to hold on to the ball a little longer. And this quick defensive line of Shreveport was able to put some pressure on him and finally tackle him after only a gain of about 5 or 6 yards.
Makes it second down, 15 from the 30. Slack passing again. Goes downfield, incomplete. Nobody even close to the football. Reggie Slack really just getting an opportunity to play quarterback for this team, and you can tell he's still trying to find himself a little bit, Danny.
Well, I think he is, and I think that he's trying to associate himself with these new players that he's had an opportunity to get in there, and that's Alex Smash getting in. He's going to kind of introduce himself to Reggie Slack. Good look at Dan Daniels, the defensive line coach on the side, talking to his guys, just really getting them motivated. This is a long game.
Cameron sends it away. Basinger from the 35 falls, gets back on his feet, and finally goes down at his own 32. There are flags on the play.
Gus, guess who the penalty's going to be on? I think we're going to go again with Darius Watson, number 26. That's the third no-yards penalty that he has gotten tonight.
Darius Watson.
If in fact it is, I'm sorry.
6 feet, 190-pound rookie.
No yards. Winnipeg number 26. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Watson, really aggressive defensive back. Senior year at Louisville, was an honorable mention All-American. He transferred from Cal State Fullerton.
Take a look right there. This foot is circled, and that is within that 5-yard zone. After Basinger makes the catch and falls down on his duff. But again, that's the third no-yards penalty against that young halfback.
First down from the 48. Tolliver steps up in the pocket. He's going to run it. Billy Joe, not the quickest of foot, but he gets out of bounds at the 52. Billy Joe Tolliver. And his coaches yesterday talked about how he's not that fast, but he's got enough movement to be able to get out of trouble. 3-minute warning we're at now, 21-0 Pirates. And the Pirate is getting a little excited here in Shreveport. They're up 21-0 over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at Independence Stadium, going after their second win of the season. And Danny, we've had a chance to spend a couple of days in town here, and people are really excited. They get a lot of coverage for the CFL here in this city.
We were watching last night the television, and there are ads running constantly about season ticket and public businesses and using, you know, Shreveport and talking about the Pirates. And I even saw that guy on a commercial last night. This guy will do anything to get a free ticket to get in to watch these games. But these are very knowledgeable people down here. They understand football. They may not understand the Canadian football rules right yet, but they understand hustle and they understand athletic ability and great catches and excitement. And I tell you what, tonight, the crowd that is here have been standing on their feet when this Shreveport team is ahead 21-0.
Billy Joe, 6 of 12, 141 yards. Got out of bounds after gaining 4 yards. Now it's second down and 6 from his own 52-yard line. And we have movement on the right side of the Shreveport offensive line. Looks like John Heidenreich again.
Procedure, Shreveport number 65. Second down repeated.
Good call, Gus. Exactly. John Heidenreich just trying to get a quick step, and he sets back in that pass blocking position. Take another look at the penalties. 9 for Winnipeg. 3 of those big penalties and no yards for 87 yards. 3 penalties that really haven't hurt Shreveport to this point, except 1 illegal block on a punt return.
56 penalties now in the year for the Pirates. Second and 12. Tolliver underneath, complete, close to the 50. Curtis Mayfield with the reception.
Gus, you were just talking about earlier about he's not that mobile, but he just can move just enough to get you away from him. Mayfield does an excellent job. See how he keeps running back toward Billy Tolliver to pick up the ball. Tolliver is able to step up into the pocket and deliver that ball low on the ground, where Mayfield was able to keep his body between he and the cornerback, Garrett.
Curtis Mayfield was picked up in the dispersal draft from Las Vegas. Last year he had 61 receptions for 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns, and he's a player that really hadn't come on for this Pirates team yet.
I think he's a player that is set just to explode. I think now the kind of thing that you have that we can see tonight is an offense that has confidence, an offensive line that is blocking and giving protection to a quarterback. And when the quarterback gets that kind of protection, then he's going to make things happen and be able to look for a receiver like Curtis Mayfield.
Curtis Mayfield, big gain there. Gain of 14 yards. 3rd down and 1 from the 48. Tolliver straight ahead, and he picks up the 1st down. Billy Joe, 6'3", 200 pounds. So he got his weight in front of him and picked up the 1st down for Shreveport.
Terrific thing that Billy Joe and that offense is doing right now. They're going out there as possession drives. They're using the clock. They're working time off. They're picking up those 1st downs. And more importantly, they're keeping that defense of Shreveport on the sideline resting, so when they get out there, they can chase Reggie Slack around full speed.
1st down from the Winnipeg 51. 3 receivers to the far side of the field. Curtis Mayfield, the lone receiver on the near side. And Tolliver is dumped at the 50-yard line. Colin Scribner just stormed out of his nose guard position and came up with the sack. His 1st of the year, but there is a penalty on the play.
Colin Scribner is the younger brother of Glenn Scribner, who is a great defensive tackle out for the BC Lions, Grey Cup champions last year. The young Scribner tips the scale. He comes in 6'5", 270 and went to Oregon.
A lot of penalties being called in this game, Kep.
There is, and a lot of these.
Shreveport number 2. Penalty is declined. 2nd down.
Norman Bradford called for the holding penalty. The fullback.
And sometimes when you get those fullbacks, and Bradford's not that big, he's about 6'3", about 200 pounds. He gets locked up with some of those big defensive linemen coming in there. The tendency is to grab a little cloth if you feel your quarterback is in trouble.
2nd and 16. Tolliver pressured again, fires. Incomplete pass. Martin Patton catching it off the carpet. But Billy Joe Tolliver under extreme pressure on that last play.
This Winnipeg defense is sending 5 guys, and they're starting to loop around up in front. And that's number 99. That's Bill McCollins coming up there to create the pressure, force Billy Joe to have to step up into the pocket and try to throw the ball to Patton off balance.
So the Pirates will have to send it away. Leading 21-0 with 1:41 remaining in the 1st half. Alan Boyko, the deep man for Winnipeg. Robbie Keane standing at his 36. High, wobbly kick. Boyko from the 11, and he goes down. Good special teams coverage by Shreveport. Will Covington, the 1st man there.
Young Shreveport team showing great discipline that time on the punt. Once it hits the ground, everybody just kind of circled the wagons and got around it out of that 5-yard zone. Forced the return man Boyko to have to pick it up, and then once he got his hands on it, they made the tackle. Take a look at the numbers of Reggie there, Gus.
2 of 9, 19 yards. What does Cal Murphy and Mike Kelly, the offensive coordinator for Winnipeg, have to do to get Reggie on track here?
Well, I think, unfortunately, the loss of Blaze Bryant has really thrown a curveball into this Winnipeg offense.
Here's Slack under pressure, complete at the 30-yard line. Making the reception, Gerald Alphin, but there is a flag in the backfield of Winnipeg.
I think we're going to bring it back on a holding call.
Defensive front for Shreveport. They put a lot of pressure on Slack today. Alex Mash, Reggie Rogers, and Ray
Holding.
Savage.
Winnipeg number 69. Half the distance. 1st down repeated.
That's the young Kenny Brown, Gus. It gets called for a holding. Now take a look just at the left of your screen. Here's the youngster. He's got all the tools in the world, all the ability in the world. The one thing that talking to Cal Murphy was, how can this guy play when real bullets are being flown at him and shot at him? And he's really risen to the occasion so far, except in that case, getting called for holding.
First and 15, Slack passing out of his own end zone. Incomplete. Gerald Wilcox unable to haul in the football. Good pass by Reggie Slack. Hit Wilcox right in the hands. And that's a play that he normally makes.
Slack wants to throw the counter bootleg as he comes back out, and the Shreveport defense is forcing him to go off the primary receiver to come to the third guy. You can see the heat that's up front. That's Johnny Scott in Reggie Slack's face again. Johnny Scott has been all around the quarterback all during the first half.
Second and 15. Play action. Slack to the far side, incomplete. Nobody home again. David Williams and Reggie Slack trying to hook up on the far side of the field. Williams just being reactivated to this Winnipeg Blue Bomber team. So 1 minute and 9 seconds remain in the second quarter.
Gus, and we've seen a lot of that between particularly Reggie Slack getting his first start at quarterback, a guy like David Williams coming back off of torn Achilles last year. There's a lot of miscommunication where the quarterback thinks they're going to go to one position and one pattern, and the receiver runs something else.
So Bob Cameron, 10 yards deep in his own end zone, will send it away. Pirates with a chance to get some great field position with over a minute left in the first half. Here's Basinger, driven back, fumbles the ball. Basinger goes down at the 52. 1 minute remaining in the half. K.D. Williams making the tackle for Winnipeg. So Billy Joe Tolliver, familiar with the 2-minute drill, or 1 minute drill in this case, have an opportunity to put some more points on the board, Danny, before the Pirates go into the locker room.
Gus, it's held by in the Canadian Football League that the clock will stop after every play at the last 3 minutes of the half and the last 3 minutes of the game. So this 1 minute is going to last a long time, and if Billy Joe Tolliver really has some great field management out there, he'll be able to position the Shreveport team to where Nitmo can get a chance for a long field goal.
So it will be first down and 10 from the 48, the Shreveport 48. I formation right now behind Billy Joe Tolliver. They keep it on the ground. Here's Patton, and he goes down immediately at about the line of scrimmage. Scrivener with the tackle. Now coming up at halftime, Sports Smash, along with some interviews from both coaches and highlights and statistics, along with analysis from our Danny Kepler.
Paul Randolph, the leader on this Winnipeg defense, steps in there just like good linebacker, takes on the block, makes the tackle.
Here's Mayfield at the 50, and Curtis Mayfield picks up the first down inside Winnipeg territory, down at the 47-yard line. Gain of 13.
Shannon Garrett really giving Mayfield a lot of room and respecting the speed of Mayfield. And Tolliver's able to throw the ball underneath.
First down from the 48. Tolliver going up top for Mayfield. Makes the catch. Turns it inside. Curtis Mayfield. Touchdown Shreveport. But there is a flag on the play in the Shreveport backfield, and George Black is saying bring it on back.
Yeah, it tells you all about it right there. Come back, it's holding.
Shreveport number 68, 10-yard penalty, repeat the down.
Donnell Johnson, the right tackle out of Johnson C. Smith in his second season, called for holding, and that will negate the Curtis Mayfield touchdown, which would have been for 48 yards.
The big offensive tackle, as much as you hate to see that happen, don't get down on yourself. This is an offense that has really been productive in the first half. Take a look. Katie Williams, the outside linebacker on the right-hand side of your screen, makes a great move to get inside the big tackle, and all he does is just turn around, tackle him from behind, and take him down.
First down and 20 from the 52. They swing it out to Pack at the 50. Martin Pack goes out of bounds at the 43-yard line. And some hard running there by the 6'1", 203-pound tailback.
Gus, just to give an example, too, there's still 23 seconds left to go on the clock. They've already run 3 plays from the 1-minute time that we talked about last.
He picks up 14 yards, makes it 2nd and 6 from the 44. Good play selection by Tolliver, who is calling his own plays this evening, as most quarterbacks do in the CFL. To the near side again, complete, and a first down for Curtis Mayfield. He gets out of bounds and stops the clock. So Billy Joe Tolliver doing a good job, kept nickel and diming him right now.
He really does. He's shown some great poise in the backfield. He's getting time to be able to see the whole field, and when he does have that time, they're being very productive, as they have in this first half. Take a look at how Mayfield is working against Shannon Garrett. Makes the hard move to the inside. Garrett bites on it, and then all of a sudden Mayfield brings the ball back to the outside. Billy Joe Tolliver throws it right on the spot. And take a look at Terry Smith come in and just give the great shot to Kenny Burgess right at the end to protect Curtis Mayfield along that sideline.
Pirates are about a half-yard shy of the first down. Mayfield, 5 receptions, 43 yards. He comes into this game with 17 receptions for 311 yards, averaging 18 yards per catch. 3rd and short. Here's Tolliver straight ahead, picks up the first. This time going over the left side behind Terry Buford and Ben Jefferson. Buford, a former NFL veteran. And a timeout has been called by Shreveport. Now don't forget, if you like the CFL, you want to join us next Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:30 p.m. Pacific, as Memphis takes on the Southern Division leading Baltimore Stallions at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. That's 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific from Baltimore, the Charm City. And I tell you, the Stallions have done a great job at sustaining what they developed last year, advancing to the Grey Cup in their inaugural season.
It goes right down, just a first-class organization from the owner, Jim Sparrows, to Don Matthews, the head coach, all of his assistant coaches, and it's a first-class organization led at quarterback by Tracy Ham out of Georgia Southern. That Memphis team led by Damon Allen, younger brother of Marcus Allen, and he can make a lot of things happen.
1st and 10 from the 37, 15 seconds remaining in the half. Tolliver, 3-step drop, goes up for Mayfield. He makes the reception. Curtis Mayfield out of bounds at the 6. Somehow, Curtis Mayfield was able to hold on to the football long enough for the reception to be counted.
Let's take a look. The ball's up in the air. There's pretty good coverage. Got the ball, jiggling a little bit, bobbling a little bit, but he's able to make the stutter step and get that right foot down. Big play to set it up.
Gain of 31 yards. First down, goal to go from the Winnipeg 7. In the end zone for Mayfield again. Incomplete, and a flag has been thrown. Shannon Garrett, locked up in one-on-one coverage with Mayfield, will be called for defensive pass interference.
Shannon Garrett out of Mississippi College, the young rookie, and he's getting a test tonight against a very experienced receiver.
Forward pass interference. Winnipeg number 23. First down.
So they'll spot the ball at the 1-yard line.
Just a fly route. It's a fade. He's just going to throw it up, throw it to the corner of the end zone. It's 1-on-1. Who wants the ball more? And Shannon Garrett gets his hands all over Mayfield and is called with the flag.
In the game now, the Beef brothers for Shreveport, they've brought in defensive linemen Johnny Scott and Ben Williams. Now, I'm not sure where they'll be lining up, whether it'll be on the line or in the backfield. As blockers, a timeout has been called by Winnipeg. In the CFL, each team is allotted only one timeout per half. Both teams have now used theirs.
Certainly the look on Cal Murphy's face can tell you exactly what his frustrations are. And then on the other side of the ball, you're seeing Forrest Grant talk to his quarterback. Well-traveled quarterback, but a very young CFL quarterback. And what he wants to see on this big play with only 6 seconds to go and the ball being on the 1-yard line.
So in the lineup now, number 72, Johnny Scott, along with Ben Williams. And here's Patton over the right side. Touchdown, Shreveport. Martin Patton picks up his 4th touchdown of the year. He's got 2 in this game. And the Shreveport Pirates have taken a 27-0 lead.
Big Patton jumps right behind Donnell Johnson at right tackle. John Hendricks, Heidenreich, I should say, off that right side, does an excellent job breaking a tackle. The young back has great leg strength. He's able to get the ball in for the major.
Martin Patton has 9 carries on 94 yards, 2 touchdowns. And the extra point makes it a 28-0 game, but there are flags in the end zone.
Nitmo thinks he has an opportunity, obviously, to sway the position of the referee Black on this one.
Too many men, Winnipeg. Penalty is declined to convert score.
So with 3 seconds remaining in the first half, the Shreveport Pirates have taken a 28-0 lead. And we talked to the coaches from Winnipeg about the offense from Shreveport, and their biggest concern was the speed that they had on the outside, Danny, and it's really coming to play in the first half.
It really is. He knew, Coach Murphy knew that this Shreveport team had great receivers with great team speed, and possibly their only downfall was the fact maybe their offensive line hadn't really gelled together enough to allow Billy Joe Tolliver the kind of time to find that speed. But tonight, so far through the course of this first half, we've seen a really positive offensive line that have made some great blocks, created some good protection, and when Billy Joe Tolliver has had that time, he has found the speed, and the speed has produced major scores.
3 seconds left, 28-0. Shreveport. They've surprised this Winnipeg team, who came in here looking to improve their record to 3-3, and they were pleased with the thoughts of going 3-3 after the first quarter of their season. They talked about how they like to break their season, Danny, into quarters.
Well, they're trying to do, I think, you know, and the 6th game is in an 18-game schedule. When you get to a third of the season, if you can get out 3-3, you're pretty good.
So Nitmo keeps this one on the ground. Fred Ward running the football, and that will be the end of the first half of play as he goes down at the 32. So at the end of the first half, the Shreveport Pirates are taking a 28-0 lead into the locker room. The story of the first half, Curtis Mayfield, 6 receptions for 74 yards, and Martin Patton, 9 carries, 94 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Shreveport, they look pretty strong right now. They don't look like a 1-5 team.
They certainly don't. They look like a team that's very well balanced. Offensively, defensively, and their special teams have helped out a lot tonight.
And we're with head coach Forrest Gregg. Coach Gregg, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Hey, how about that first half? You must be really pleased with the way your team performed.
Well, most of it. We put the ball on the almost put the ball on the ground twice. We did put it on once, and another time we almost fumbled another punt which could have been disastrous to us because it gave them great field position. What we're playing for, we got to play for field position. You got to hold on to the football, and I'm a little exasperated by that right now.
Coach, that offense of yours has finally been able to put some possession drives together, and when the defense does have a chance to get on there, they're making a lot of things happen. Great coverage in the secondary.
Yeah, they are. We're getting good pressure on the quarterback, and Billy Joe Tolliver is throwing the ball really well. The first 3 plays that he threw the ball, he put the ball right on the money, and we dropped 3 passes. And you know, of course, we've made some big plays since then, and I'm happy about that. And we've still got another half to play, and this is a very, very explosive football team, a very physical football team. I'm talking about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and we can't take anything for granted.
Coach, in the first half, Martin Patton, 9 carries, 94 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Surprised with what he's done, and you must be pleased with the way your offensive line has been blocking for you.
Yeah, they've really been. We've been running the ball well since the first Winnipeg game. But we haven't been throwing the ball very well, and Billy Joe is doing a great job tonight. Everything has kind of come together a little bit tonight, and that's the reason we've got points on the board.
Well, Coach, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck in the second half of play.
Thank you. We'll need it.
Coach Forrest Gregg and his team takes a 28-0 lead into the locker room for halftime, and coming up, we'll have Sports Smash, and we'll be back for highlights. Stay with us.
The award-winning players, the complete rules, and the outstanding performances all the way to the Grey Cup. To order your copy, call 1-800-626-4330.
Rise and shine.
You're so obnoxious.
Obnoxious, but employed.
Nice way to treat your brother. So where's my breakfast?
Here, gotta run.
Kellogg's Nutri-Grain bars.
Hey, I do healthy, but low fat, no preservatives. What's it taste like?
Kellogg knows breakfast, so it's a delicious crust with whole grain and filling with real fruit, now in cherry.
I'd eat this on my way to work.
Or to an interview?
Can you get me one?
Kellogg's Nutri-Grain bars, now in cherry. Start your morning off right.
The time is 5:01. The beer is Miller High Life, and the reason is clear. When the time is your own, it must be Miller time. Your time, Miller time.
Yes, it is.
After one half of play, the Shreveport Pirates lead the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 28-0. And recently, the CFL has gone through some dramatic changes, adding 5 teams in the United States. And our Dan Kepley had a chance to sit down with CFL Commissioner Larry Smith in San Antonio and talk about some of the new and upcoming events in the Canadian Football League.
Thank you very much. I tell you what, it's a pleasure for me to sit here and kind of chat with an old nemesis of mine that I had an opportunity to play against with the Montreal Alouettes, the commissioner of the CFL, Larry Smith. Larry, I walked into this Alamo Dome here this afternoon. It looked a lot like 1976 going back into the Big O in Montreal.
Well, you know, my first reaction, Kep, was you coming across the middle and giving me one of those cheap shots right in the head in 1976 in such a beautiful facility. And so, you know, all those concussions have not helped me in coming into here, but this is just a great facility.
Well, I tell you what, if you're going to take a cheap shot, you might as well take it in a good place than in a really dumpy place, right?
Well, I tell you what, this is a type of stadium that is first class, and it really gives you the type of image that you want to have to build a major professional sports league.
Well, Larry, we got to be really excited about the opportunity, the expansion of what we have right now. This is a perfect example of why it works really good. Can you tell us right now We got the map of you can see the CFL. We have North America covered pretty well. Where are we going to go from here?
Well, if you look at the map, you'll see that we have a real southern type conference in the United States. And what we have to do is probably add a Florida-based team, which would complement the South. And then we have to get into that Western California-based team and then up into the Pacific Northwest in a Portland type area. And then after that, we can add some strategic locations because everyone talks about New York if we're going to be successful in getting a television contract. So the objective now is to get the right partners, the right cities, and fill in that map. And of course, in Canada, we'd like to add Montreal and give us that real balance between our American and Canadian teams.
And for the people at home that don't know this, now the Canadian-based teams are required by the CFL Players Association that they have 20 Canadians that are based on their roster. Now, the U.S. teams don't have that. Can you foresee that to be a problem in the future, Larry?
Well, I think it's important to understand that in Canada, we have only 24 institutions that play football, so there has to be some form of incentive for the young kids. The problem is the number, and the number at 20 is probably over time not going to be the balanced number, Dan. So I think over time we'll be able to work it to a more manageable level so that we incentivize the young Canadian kids to play, but at the same time we're really cognizant of the realities of having an open market. Our top Canadian kids can play against the top American kids. It's just that we don't have a lot of them.
Well, we're doing a lot right now to try to create exposure for the CFLs, particularly in the United States. How are we going to take, and so what are some of the options that we have to get more people in the stands, Larry?
Well, you know, we have to go into places like San Antonio and really work on the local fan base. There's a 15 to 20,000 core base of fans that need to be expanded, and we have to do that by getting promotional programs, getting in their face, inviting them to try the product, and really execute, Dan, like you and I used to do on the field.
Well, I hope that we can do that, Larry. I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Dan.
Once again, we'd like to thank Commissioner Larry Smith for joining us. With Dan Kepley, the Shreveport Pirates ahead 28-0 after one half of play. Coming up next, we'll have a look at the first half along with statistics and highlights. Stay with us.
This is me 5 years ago when I joined.
At LA Photo, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and here's a few of them. Artistic, exotic, sexy, beautiful. LA Photo's professional private studios are available to amateur, professional, and fantasy photographers. Choose any of LA Photo's beautiful models. Their creative posing in intimate apparel, lingerie, semi or full nude will be of everyone's expectations. Start your own private collection of beautiful art. Walk-ins are welcome. Call 810-772-0067.
Will he be the same fighter? Will he still strike fear into the hearts of his opponents? Will he be the Mike Tyson of old? Or will he be better? The return of Mike Tyson. Tyson versus McNeely, Saturday, August 19th, live on pay-per-view.
Brought to you by Comcast and LA Photo Shoot, Grossbeck south of 8 Mile in Warren.
There's a quarterback keeper. He's at the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10, the 15, the 20.
The Arena Football League. 4 padded walls, 16 crazy men, and 1 football. Arena Football. On ESPN2. Big angry men in small, hard places.
Pro football. To some, it's just a game. But to ESPN, it's our business. We broadcast the battles. Now ESPN gives you the stories behind the lines. It's ESPN's Pro Football 95, the new Pro Football Bible. We put what we know down on paper. Team-by-team analysis, features, player profiles. Chris Berman leads an ESPN All-Star squad forecasting who'll soar and who'll dive in 95. Don't be left in the dust. Available at newsstands everywhere.
Back to begin the third quarter of play from Shreveport with the Pirates comfortably ahead 28-0. Winnipeg receiving to start the second half. Here's Ken Burris, and he fumbles the football, and it's recovered by the Pirates. So Shreveport starts the second half the same way they ended the first half of play with the football.
A lot of momentum, lack of concentration. As far as Burris trying to field the punt, now he has to chase it down. But take a look at that. That's Junior Smith, #1 out of East Carolina University. comes up with a big play. Now they just pick up the momentum exactly where they left it off at the second quarter.
9th fumble on the year for Winnipeg, and statistically, it's pretty clear why Shreveport is winning this football game. Passing yards, 208 to 20 for Winnipeg, and rushing yards behind Martin Patton, 103 to 35, with an injured Blaze Bryant on the sidelines, Danny.
Well, I think that makes a big difference, because now that Shreveport doesn't have to really respect the running attack of Winnipeg, they can concentrate more on those receivers, and they have taken particularly Gerald Wilcox and Gerald Alphen and David Williams completely out of this football game.
One other telling statistic is the penalties. Winnipeg being penalized 11 times for 108 yards, and Shreveport being penalized 8 times for like 85 yards. And that's one thing that I'm sure both of these coaches want to make sure that they focus on, their teams not being penalized. And giveaway, takeaway, -7, -3. Talk about, Danny, explain what giveaway, takeaway really means.
Well, in the giveaway, takeaway thing, what you're talking about is the takeaways are interceptions or fumble recoveries or loss or downs. And in the giveaways, it's more like if you're throwing interceptions, or how many times you fumble the ball and how many times you actually lose the ball on downs. So you can see these teams are really not very good right now. They have been giving up a lot of picks, a lot of fumbles, and they've given up some times on downs.
On the year, the Pirates have thrown 6 interceptions. For Winnipeg, they've thrown 8 interceptions for 71 yards. And Winnipeg's fumbled the ball 9 times. Shreveport has fumbled the ball 8 times. Cal Murphy, obviously a little frustrated after the first half, and his frustration continues to grow as Junior Smith fumbles the ball on their return.
And that's Johnny Scott, who's coming off the field quite gingerly, but he seems to be okay. Big look there. That's big Chris Walby, the right side tackle of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, 6'7", about 335.
So we're just underway in the third quarter. First possession of the game for Shreveport from the 32. They run the reverse. Here's Basinger again. He's got room, but Freeman Basinger unable to turn the corner. K.D. Williams with the tackle. Williams runs a 4.5 40-yard dash, and you could see him moving there as he came up with the tackle on the speedy.
I guess take a look at this. This just kind of tickles me a bit. You got Billy Joe Tolliver's leading the block. He can see K.D. Williams, but this time the man doesn't want anything with him, because now K.D. can see Billy Joe Tolliver. And this time I think he'd have laid Billy Joe out for that last little block that he threw. And you just didn't see it. That was great speed, great pursuit by K.D. Williams.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7. Tolliver into the end zone for Basinger, and it's intercepted by Darrell Sampson in the end zone, and he'll step out of bounds. First interception of the game for Winnipeg, but there's a flag on the play.
Flag is down.
There could have been some contact by the halfback Darius Watson, and let's see if he do call it. They did call pass interference against Winnipeg. Let's just see who it's on.
Forward pass interference. Winnipeg number 26. First down.
That's the 4th penalty on that young man tonight. Now, as Billy Joe Tolliver steps up, it's just a post corner. He's expecting Basinger to get deep, but the contact took place on about the 5-yard line. Watson just kind of jammed Basinger up into the chest, and it nullifies the interception.
First down, goal to goal from the 8. Tolliver letting it fly again to the far side, complete. And Wayne Walker unable to get into the end zone. Darius Watson with the tackle, and he could be hurt on the far sideline. And I really like the composure that Tolliver is showing today.
Watch how they make this thing. He just has some great confidence and some patience. Walker fakes the quick, hard route inside. Curtis Cotton, the corner, slips down and falls on the play. But this is the kind of thing you'd see. Billy Joe Tolliver knows he's going to get hit, knows that there's pressure going to be on him. But if he waits that extra little second, it gives a guy like Wayne Walker to work his move, work the shake and bake, get open, and make it first and goal, or second and goal.
Gain 6 yards from the 2. Here's Pat over the right side. Touchdown, Shreveport. What a game it's been for Martin Patton, his 3rd touchdown of the game.
Young man, 24 years old, out of Carter, Texas, makes it look pretty easy. This offensive line is playing with a tremendous amount of confidence right now that they've had success at getting the ball into the end zone against a very tough Winnipeg defense. This time they really have some great explosion, get off the ball, and Martin Patton doesn't let them down by making the major.
Martin Patton was sprung by a great block by John Heidenreich. As Bjorn Nitmo adds the extra point, makes it a 35-0 game. And we'll be back with more from Shreveport after this.
Roger, command, target confirmed at 05. Locked in and launching on my mark.
This guided missile is brought to you by Ken Norton and his Reebok NFL Pro Line jacket, who remind you that players are made in the preseason.
Of top athletes polled prefer more carbos, with 33% more carbos than Gatorade. It's Powerade.
If you do this, you need this. Spiraflex Abrasion, Skin Saver, and Blister Kits get you back in the action fast because Spiraflex helps you heal faster, reduces pain and scarring, and protects up to 7 days.
And we're back. 12:52 remaining in the 3rd quarter of play. Shreveport gets another touchdown, 2-yarder this time by Martin Patton. He's got 3 on the evening, and they've taken a 35-0 advantage. And Reggie Slack will come back on the field to play quarterback for this Winnipeg Blue Bombers team. Now, their starting quarterback was Sammy Garza. He was traded after a kind of a controversial incident that took place.
Well, I think Sammy Garza was traded to Ottawa, and the point being, I think that Sammy's had a tough go of it through the course of this season, and he was venting a little bit of frustration that took place, and he just got human all of a sudden, as quarterbacks are. And now he's traded. Now the pressure falls on Reggie Slack to move this Winnipeg team.
Here's Burgess trying to get outside. Ken Burgess at the 25, and a jarring tackle. Ball picked up, and it's a touchdown. Curtis Mayfield, and Shreveport storming ahead. What a tackle on special teams by the Pirates. It looked like Norman Bradford just came out of nowhere and crushed Ken Burris.
Take a look as Burgess goes around the corner. Look at this tackle. Bang, right on the ball. That is number 83. That's Will Covington, the receiver. The little receiver getting in there, sticking his head in and making something big happen. Look at this. Perfect tackle. Great form. Wraps his hands up, gets the helmet on the ball. And Curtis Mayfield showing some pursuit to get over there to make a tackle. And look what he finds. The ball bounces right up into his hand, right in stride, and they get it into the end zone. And when it's going right, it is going right for the Shreveport Pirates.
42-0. Curtis Mayfield, 25-yard return on special teams, courtesy of Will Covington's big hit, textbook hit. And the Pirates feeling really good about themselves at this juncture, storming away with this one. And after these 5 games against Southern Division opponents, Winnipeg will certainly be happy to start playing some Northern Division teams again.
Well, I'll tell you what, if they're going to play the way they're playing tonight, it's going to be tough against any of the Northern Division teams. But let's take another good look at this play here because it's a heads-up play. Look, he protects the outside. He forces Burgess to have to make the cut back inside, and when he does, he settles down, puts the helmet on the ball. Mayfield comes up with the fumble recovery and the touchdown.
4th touchdown of the year for Curtis Mayfield. That is only the first special teams touchdown for the Pirates this season. And it's just been one of those days for Cal Murphy. One of those days that he will like to forget very quickly.
Justin, I tell you, Coach Murphy is the recipient of a heart transplant a couple of years ago, and I guarantee you it's testing it right now. There's a lot of blood pressure in the body of Coach Murphy.
Ken Burris, Fred Ward back deep for Winnipeg. Low line drive kick. Shannon Garrett running the football up to the 40, make it the 42. But there is a flag on the play.
Good chance from where the spot that flag was thrown. It's going to be an illegal block against Winnipeg and back it up. Referee's having a little conference there with the other officials.
And the penalty will go against the Blue Bombers. As you take a look at Reggie Slack.
We have cut block, Shreveport, number 29. First down.
Rather, the penalty will go against the Pirates. Cut block called against Reggie Carthen, rookie defensive back out of Montana State. Bombers will get the ball on their own 53.
Reggie Slack in that Winnipeg offense, obviously very shaken. Doesn't look too composed with what we have seen so far through the course of 2 quarters and a little bit in the 3rd quarter. But he has to come out there and understand he can't get it all back at one time. You're going to have to think what this defense will give you.
Slack on first down, firing under the middle. And it's complete at the 30-yard line. Gerald Wilcox found a soft spot in the secondary, makes the reception. And a late flag thrown on the play.
Great opportunity right now. Shreveport has to maintain their discipline. Don't give up cheap penalties.
Major foul, face mask. Shreveport, number 75. First down.
Reggie Rogers called for the face mask penalty. And all of a sudden in 2 plays, courtesy of 2 penalties, the Blue Bombers have gotten deep into Shreveport territory at their 15.
Good look at Greg Stuman, the middle linebacker, who's orchestrating the calls out there and trying to put all this active Shreveport defense in the right positions.
Straight drop back for Slack into the end zone, and this ball hits the goal post. And another flag is thrown on the play. Reggie Slack going for Fred Ward in the end zone, but he hit the left goal post with the football.
Take a look now. Slack's looking around. He's trying to find somebody. Good zone coverage. Forces Slack to have to take it to the post. And when he did take it to the post, we mean it literally. He hit the goal post with that throw.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Winnipeg, number 57. It is 2nd down.
Brett McNeil, 5th-year guard out of Boston University. And the penalty numbers, look at them. 13, 144 yards for Winnipeg, 10 for 115 for Shreveport. 2nd and a long 25. to the near side, incomplete. Intended for Fred Ward. Reggie Slack forced to learn a lot about this offense in a short amount of time. How do you simplify things for him, Danny?
Well, I don't think you have to. I think because, you know, Reggie Slack has been in Winnipeg before. Cal Murphy was the head coach there last year, and he had an opportunity to learn this same offense then. So I don't think a lot of it is all that new. Mike Kelly, the offensive coordinator, certainly has had a relationship with Reggie Slack. But I think now just a part of getting out there and feeling the pressure of having to come from so far behind is really taking its toll on him.
38-yard field goal by Troy Westwood is good, and finally the Winnipeg Blue Bombers get on the scoreboard, but they still trail 42-3.
One way to get a...
More people come to Forster Brothers Oil Change and Auto Wash than any other oil change in the Tri-County area. Their professionals use quality Quaker State products, whether it's oil, transmission, or differential fluid. They also offer radiator flushes and fuel injector cleaning. You're always treated to a free full-service auto wash at Forster Brothers with every oil change. Give your car special treatment with quality Quaker State products in a friendly, professional atmosphere. Forster Brothers Oil Change and Auto Wash on John R. south of 14 Mile, just south of the Oakland Mall.
Ron's Pawn Shop, Macomb County's largest buyer, has just gotten bigger with their new outlet in Roseville. Ron's 10,000 square foot outlet sells everything from cars and boats, cameras and musical instruments to televisions and VCRs. Need cash? Ron's Pawn Shop pays top dollar for gold and diamonds, and Ron's always makes a fair and honest deal. Ron's Pawn Shop, investing in our community. Visit one of their 3 locations with their newest and largest location on Gratiot, just south of 696. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6.
From Independence Stadium in Shreveport. Pirates cruising away with the 42-3 score, and right after the Troy Westwood field goal, Reggie Rogers and Ray Savage were called for
unnecessary roughness.
Unnecessary roughness penalties.
We've got a 30-yard penalty that's sitting in place right now. We're just a matter of seeing. They're out there having a conference in about the 30-yard line of Shreveport to find out exactly from what point is that penalty going to be marked.
Unfortunately, the penalties are at this point overshadowing the great performance turned in so far by the Pirates. Coming into the game at 1-5, they're...
Shreveport has elected to receive a kickoff after the field goal. There will be 2 15-yard major fouls for unnecessary roughness that will apply on the kickoff.
Yeah.
All right, so if you can understand, they elect to receive. Just take a look on the inside. That's Brent McNeil right there, the left guard. He and Ben Williams going to get into it. Little hand up in the face. Now it's going to be a little jawing back and forth. And Ben Williams takes an exception to it. And then also, there's where number 96, that's Ray Savage, comes into the play also. And you can see there's still a lot of smoke flying from over there on the Shreveport side. Now what you do after a field goal, you do have the option in Canadian football either to scrimmage the ball from the 35-yard line or have the other team kick off. Now, if it's going to be, Shreveport will have Winnipeg kick the ball off, normally from the 35-yard line. I guess there should be a 30-yard penalty assessed against Shreveport. So at this point, there would be about the 35 or 40-yard line. The ball is going to be kicked off on Shreveport's side. If that happens to be the case, let's see what happens. Referee Black explaining the calls to Forrest Gregg.
So Troy Westwood spotting the ball at the Shreveport 45-yard line.
That's where it takes place. Now they have great field position right now, and you would kind of suspect, you know, obviously an onside kick attempt at this place to try to just kick the ball, see if you can get the ball back. If you can recover it, fine. If you can't recover it, Shreveport still is going to scrimmage the ball from the 35-yard line or somewhere in that area if they don't get a good return back on it. But if they kick the ball deep, they can still get a single point if they kick it through. But right now, 1 point's not going to help them. They're down 42-3. They need a lot of points.
In order to get a single, Westwood would have to either kick it out of the back of the end zone or out of the side of the end zone. And here comes the pooch kick. Mayfield at the 15 goes down immediately. K.D. Williams with the tackle.
Shreveport was very intelligent that time as they had their onside kick team out there. A lot of guys with a lot of speed. Shreveport had what they called their hands team. Guys that are used to touching the ball, the receivers, the running backs. And Curtis Mayfield came up with it. So normally in this case, when Shreveport would have gotten the ball 1st and 10 on the 35-yard line, they actually get it 1st and 10 on the 15-yard line. So now Winnipeg has basically backed them up 20 yards from where they would originally scrimmage.
Billy Joe Tolliver been on the sidelines for a while. He'll start from his own 15. Martin Patton going in motion out of the backfield. They hand it to the up back. This is Norman Bradford, and Bradford gets about 2, possibly 3, another flag.
Billy Joe came up to the huddle and came up to the line of scrimmage and just had a stutter count in there. And they had some of those Winnipeg defenders trying to get off the ball very quickly. Both of the ends, one looked like K.D. Williams and the other could be Charlie Clemens.
Winnipeg number 44, 5-yard penalty, 1st down repeated.
K.D. Williams a little anxious. He's had a pretty positive game for the Blue Bombers this evening, both on special teams and at outside linebacker. Gains 5 yards. 1st down, 5 to go. Here's Patton. And Patton gets over the 20 to about the 22.
Well, you have to imagine, Gus, too, that this Shreveport team are in a very unfamiliar waters. They are way ahead into the game where they have really kind of the luxury of trying to run the clock down. So they're trying to rush the ball right now. They've got some pretty good guys in Patton and also Bradford that can get this done. Junior Smith in the backfield.
Gain of only 1, 2nd down, 4 from the 20. Tolliver in trouble, and Billy Joe Tolliver sacked again. This time Greg Clark, his 2nd sack of the game. And Billy Joe Tolliver has to be helped up by his teammates. He's a little woozy, stumbling back to the 7-yard line.
Greg Clark comes in from one side on the right side, and he starts to make the tackle, and then both of their weights hit Charlie Clemens, who was coming in from the left side, and dropped Clemens right to the ground. And you can see that Charlie Clemens, number 48, was a little gingered getting off the field. Now take a look right from the right side of your screen. Clark is the guy who's going to put some pressure on quickly. And then both of their weights are going to hit Clemens. Boom, there's Clemens. He takes a shot right in the top of the head and drops him down and stuns him. Good move inside. Now you got the weight of both the quarterback and also Greg Clark hitting Charlie Clemens. Clemens gets up and gets off the field gingerly.
Robbie Keane on his goal line. Nice punt. Sends Bruce Boyko back. And a no yards penalty flag thrown on this play at midfield.
Junior Smith on the tackle.
Junior Smith makes the tackle for Shreveport.
And Gus, that'll be a 15-yard from the spot. You can see a little miscommunication as that punt was being fielded between Boyko and also Kenny Burgess.
Yards. Shreveport number 1. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Now, looking at this game, Danny, obviously the Shreveport players are aware of the no yards penalty. It seems like they have no regard for that right now.
Well, I just
that's
think
the 5th time that's happened this evening. 1st and 10 from the 40, slack. And a good defensive play in the secondary. Number 9, Jonathan Wilson, reaching around to redirect the football.
Another penalty flag. That's offsides against Shreveport. But that's the first time we've had a chance to even talk about Jonathan Wilson tonight.
Offside, Shreveport, number 96. First down repeated.
Ray Savage trying to get a jump on there, and it gets called in that neutral zone. But to get back and finish the comment, this is the first time that we've had a chance to get the ball to the outside. But look at the top of your screen. Ray Savage is just a small little stutter step, but that catches him in that 1-yard neutral zone, and they flag him right away.
Out of the shotgun, 1st and 5 from the 35, and Slack goes down. Number 99, Alex Mash, with the sack. His first of the year. 6'1", 260 pounds, second-year player out of Georgia Southern.
Take a look. There's excellent coverage there. Just a 3-step drop, but all of a sudden, Smash comes inside of the young tackle. Kenny Brown makes the move and gets a free shot right at Reggie Slacks. And when you get those kind of opportunities, you don't want to make any mistakes, and Mash put him on his back.
2nd and 12. Slack going up top, has a receiver. And the catch is made inside the 10-yard line. Looks like Gerald Wilcox hauling it in. And he caught it right in the middle of 2 Shreveport defenders.
Man-on-man coverage. The Slack looks the safety off just a little bit, and then he throws it up the seam route. The safety just a little slow in getting over there as Nash, the halfback, was trying to squeeze Wilcox in toward him. But it was a good throw by Reggie Slack and a great catch by Gerald Wilcox.
Gain of 33 yards for the CFL's most outstanding Canadian. First down, goal to go from the 8. Slack rolling. Firing in the end zone, has a receiver. Touchdown, Blue Bombers. Freddie Ward makes the reception. His first touchdown of the year, and Winnipeg finally puts together a successful drive courtesy of penalties by Shreveport.
Well, at this time, Winnipeg will take it just about any way they can, but he's going to sprint out, get the one-on-one coverage against Jonathan Wilson. But see, Reggie Slack has enough time to get his shoulders way up the field, runs a little bit of a post-corner route, gets Jonathan Wilson to really bite inside. It creates a lot of separation between he and the defender. And Reggie Slack made no mistake about putting the ball on the money.
Extra point by Troy Westwood, good. 6:22 left in the 3rd quarter. Winnipeg trying to put something together. They now trail 42-10.
Pushing count of 3.
Timeout is called right now. Shaq's got to do something big to get back in this
roll
game.
Commercial.
Shaq is leaving the court. What do you mean?
He's over there. He's on Lucy.
What?
I didn't know Shaq could ride a horse.
Hiya, pal.
Well, the timeout is over. I wonder if he's going to get back. Hey, wait a minute. Shaq's back. He's got it.
He says there's nothing good on TV.
You know, Linda's been my barber, stylist for years. Months. And a while back, she told me.
Stop squirming.
No. She said I should do something about my flakes. I said, get a new barber? She said, get new Head and Shoulders. I said, you're serious? She said, yeah. Now it has Micro D, which fights flakes better without stripping your hair of the oils it needs. So my hair feels soft. No flakes. And I owe it all to my stylist.
New Head and Shoulders, because great hair can't have flakes.
42-10. Winnipeg finally gets a touchdown as Reggie Slack hooks up with Fred Ward.
Look at the time that he has. Gets his shoulders parallel to the line of scrimmage, and it allows Ward to go down there and do a little bit of shake and bake on Jonathan Wilson, and he's able to loft it up into the corner, and that's a perfect place to want to throw it. And then take a look. Slack says, hey, there haven't been a lot of good things happen tonight, but I'm going to celebrate just for that, and then we got to go back to business next series.
First touchdown Reggie Slack has thrown this season. And Fred Ward receives his first touchdown of the year. 42-10, 6:22 remaining in the 3rd quarter. A lot of time left here in Shreveport. Another short kick by Westwood. Here's Covington. Still on his feet. Covington turns it upfield and is wrapped up at the 35. Paul Randolph with the tackle.
Short pooch kick again, as we said, and just some great effort by KD Williams of chasing Covington all the way across the field. KD was just using that 4.5 speed and was able to get in on the tackle. Allows Billy Tolliver to come out there and start it off. 1st and 10 on about the 26-yard line.
Solid evening for Billy Joe, 12 of 18, 214 yards. Managed to stay very poised in the pocket, and he has received a whole lot of time from his offensive line. From the 36. Short drop, and the ball is dropped on the far side. Looks like Wayne Walker having problems holding on to the football.
Gus, that's exactly the kind of things that Coach Forrest Gregg mentioned coming off the field. He said, you know, we had some easy catchable passes, and that certainly was one. On the hitch screen coming back into Wayne Walker, hit him right in the hands. Coach Gregg wants to see, to an extent, the perfection, the concentration. Just because you're up big 42-10 right now, don't lose your concentration. This is going to be a long game.
It was incomplete on play. We have no foul.
No penalty on the play, and that's the first time that's happened this evening. Penalty flags have been flying.
You could get a good look at Billy Joe Tolliver and the reaction when the pass is dropped. One thing that was questionable was Wayne Walker behind Billy Joe Tolliver when that pass was thrown. Then it becomes a lateral. And if it was picked up by Winnipeg, it would be their possession.
2nd and 10 from the 36. They find Bradford in the flats. Bradford cuts it downfield. He's at the 55, still on his feet at the 50. Norman Bradford, what a heck of a run. Gets to the Winnipeg 42-yard line, but there's a flag at the 50-yard line. And it will be called against Shreveport.
See if we get unnecessary roughness.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Shreveport, number 65, after the ball is dead. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
John Heidenreich, who's done a good job at his right guard position today, but also has drawn about 4 penalties in the process.
Well, those kind of things that you want to see concentration take place. Heidenreich was so far, he's 20 yards behind the play. Bradford had done an excellent job getting outside, picking up the 1st down. That shot in the back of the head wasn't going to hurt anybody except yourself.
1st and 10 from the 52. Here's Patton straight ahead. Gets over the midfield marker into Winnipeg territory at about the 53-yard line. Well, coming up tomorrow at noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific, the Brickyard 400. Jeff Gordon trying to walk away with that race. That's noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific on ESPN. Gain of 5, 2nd and 5. Tolliver, plenty of time to the near side, complete. Fred Montgomery with the reception and the 1st down. 14-yard gain for the little speedy receiver out of New Mexico State.
But take a look at the concentration that Montgomery has. Billy Joe Tolliver steps up into the pocket. Kenny Burris going to come underneath, almost get a hand on the ball, and he catches that ball one arm with his left arm and was able to have the presence of mind to drag those feet and get them inbounds.
They hand it to the deep back. This is Martin Patton. He's tackled by by Leonard Johnson.
Billy Joe Tolliver having the luxury right now of being able to mix up his plays a bit, trying to catch a big play with a running play. If not, get those defensive linemen, slow them up a little bit, and then buy some time for his passing game. And his receivers are being tremendously productive tonight.
Martin Patton, 12 carries, 95 yards to go along with 3 rushing touchdowns. And an injured player, looks like Johnson is a little woozy at the 37.
If he does happen to go out, then we can either see Colin Scribner come in or possibly Rob Davison.
Looks like Johnson may have caught a stinger making the tackle. He was drafted in this dispersal draft also from Las Vegas. Has played with Edmonton, Toronto, and also Ottawa.
Yep, he's been at last 4 years, 4 different teams. So he's got Ottawa, Toronto, Edmonton, and Las Vegas. That guy may get a lot of travel miles, I would suspect.
Billy Joe Tolliver trots back onto the football field. This is kind of performance kept that they were looking to get out of him when he was acquired during the offseason.
Well, I think this is what they had in mind when he came. The only thing is was possibly they weren't getting the kind of production from the rest of the people around him that was going to help him out even more. But you can see when it's starting to hit on all cylinders, they can put some points on the board.
2nd down, 6 from the Winnipeg 36. Out of the shotgun. Tolliver going in the end zone. And it's incomplete, but there are flags thrown on the play. Brett Montgomery, the intended receiver. Daryl Sampson covering for the Blue Bombers, and this may be another defensive pass interference call against Winnipeg.
That's exactly what we're going to get, Gus. It's going to be the safety, either Daryl Sampson or the corner, Kenny Burris, that came up as that ball was hanging up in the dry, in the air.
Forward pass interference. Winnipeg number 22. 1st down.
Ken Burris with the call in the end zone.
As the ball hangs up in the air, everybody's got a free shot at it. They call it on number 22, Burris, but it looked like Daryl Sampson was the guy that went over there and put the hand right up in the face, didn't make a play on the ball.
Here's Patton, and Martin Patton picks up his 4th rushing touchdown of the evening. And the Shreveport Pirates, courtesy of what I would consider a bad call by the official on the pass interference call against Ken Burris. Both receivers, both defenders just going up for the football. But Shreveport takes full advantage, and they score yet another touchdown. 48-10 now the score.
This play's worked twice before with Patton getting it in. Why would it happen 3 times? And it certainly does. Big guys coming off that right side, and Donnell Johnson and also John Heidenreich. Mike Stoll, the offensive center. And Terry Beaufort, or also Chuck Reed at the left guard.
Extra point good. 3:03 left in the 3rd quarter of play, and the Shreveport Pirates have continued to look impressive as they get another big rushing touchdown from Patton.
Just look at the explosion of those offensive linemen getting off the play. And one of those offensive linemen that comes in as their elephant team, that's number 64, Ben Williams, the defensive tackle. Got a great block, put one of the Winnipeg defenders on roller skates and sent him back, and that allowed Patton to get the ball in the end zone.
Come see their friendly staff on Western.
The special teams of Shreveport sitting there. That's Jody Allen, the special teams coach, who has coached with the BC Lions. Coming in this year, along with Joe Barnes, the new offensive coach also that works with the quarterbacks and the receivers.
Well, next Saturday we'll be in Baltimore as the Memphis Mad Dogs invade the city to take on the Southern Division leading Baltimore Stallions. Game time is 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:30 p.m. Pacific, right here on ESPN2. And the Baltimore franchise continues to look good after advancing to the Grey Cup last season. They're 5-1 on the year, leading the Southern Division over Memphis and Baltimore. Rushing yards on the day for the Shreveport team, 109 unofficially. They came into the game averaging 66 yards rushing per contest, but been a totally different experience for them this evening. Martin Patton the reason why, and he's close to going over the 100-yard mark already. There's Martin. Play for Texas A&I. Got a little running back at Texas A&I now by the name of Lewis Fight out of Waco, Texas, that also runs the football pretty well. Here's Shannon Garrett, and Garrett will go nowhere as he's gang tackled at the 15. Johnny Scott leading the way for Shreveport.
Another fumbled kick again, and it just throws the timing completely off. Coach Cal Murphy just cannot be happy at all with the concentration and the kind of performance that he sees out there with his team. It's easy to play when you're ahead and you're winning everything and everything's going right. It really tests your character to see when you're behind like this, to see what kind of player that you are.
So Reggie Slack and the Winnipeg offense will try to work on some things here, getting their timing together in live situations. Reception made by David Williams, a first time we've called his name this evening. Williams suffered an Achilles tendon tear last year. Was an all-CFL wide receiver in 1993, and he's in his 8th season out of Illinois. From the 26, first down. Slack gets out of trouble, dumps it off at the 35. Alan Wetmore, the fullback out of Arcadia, with the reception.
You see the kind of strength that a guy like Reggie Slack has. He gets a lot of heat up on front of him. Reggie Rogers comes in, he just makes a move, and now he's got a clear shot at him. You got to break down a bit. Slack has some good strength, able to spin away from it, find Wetmore downfield, and complete the pass.
Reggie Rogers played with the Detroit Lions, also the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Buffalo Bills. Was a Lombardi finalist coming out of college, and he's been bouncing around in professional football for a while. Got into some trouble in Detroit. Spent some time in prison, but has returned to professional football and is doing pretty well down here in Shreveport. Meanwhile, Sunday Night Baseball, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. It's the Boston Red Sox in the middle of a pennant race as they lead the American League East, led by Mo Vaughn. They take on the defending world champion Toronto Blue Jays. 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific on ESPN.
Guess what? We got just a minute. There was a guest coach that coached over with Winnipeg this year, and we had a chance to talk with him yesterday in the hotel. And here it is, James Gray out of Moorhead, Mississippi. And he just wanted to say hi to his wife, Linda, and a special thing to his mother-in-law, who just had a new hip, who's been in a wheelchair for over a year, and she's up walking around right now. So they got the son, and his son's name is Buddy, and his wife is Teresa. And they're all from Mississippi Delta Community College, where James Wookie Gray is coaching. So he just wanted to say hi, and he's on his way home.
Second down and 2 from the 34. Quick pass, intercepted. And here's another touchdown coming up for the Shreveport Pirates. And they get it. Willie White with the interception return for a touchdown. There is a flag on the play at the 35. Tracy Slack throwing it right to Will White, and he returned it 37 yards for the score. But will this one stand? That's what George Black will tell us right now.
Offside, number 99 on the defense. Shreveport, 5-yard penalty.
That's Alex Mash, and the offside penalty negates the touchdown for Shreveport.
Take a look right at the top of your screen. Again, it doesn't take much, but it's just that one little left foot that takes a step inside that neutral zone, and they called it on him.
So they march it 5 yards down the field. First and 10 from the 34 for the Bombers. In and out of the hands of the fullback, Alan Wetmore. And Reggie Rogers right on top of Reggie Slack as he released the football.
Shreveport very contented right now to sit back in a zone, make Reggie Slack throw everything up in front, and then use that great pursuit speed to come up and make things happen. Reggie Rogers, a guy putting the heat on Reggie Slack again and forcing that throw just a little sooner than Reggie was ready for it.
1:05 left in the third quarter. Second down 10 from the 40. Slack complete to Wilcox. He tries to turn it upfield and get more yardage, but he goes down at the 50-yard line. Should be enough, though, for the first down. Gerald Wilcox coming off the injured list with the nerve damage in his hip, and he's been pretty solid this evening.
Tell you what, he was solid all last year as far as the most valuable Canadian in this league.
This is David Williams making the reception at the Shreveport 50. His second reception of the game, and all of a sudden Winnipeg speeding things up a little bit with 19 seconds left in the third quarter. Slack calling plays at the line of scrimmage. Pump fakes. Slack going up top. And it's almost intercepted. Will White had the ball in his grasp, but was unable to hang on. And that's the second time that he almost came up with the interception. First he did and ran it back 35 yards for a touchdown. There he was just unable to hold on to it.
That was too easy a pass to catch. All he had to do was sit back there, play center field, made a good break on the ball, and the ball went right between his hands.
And we're at the end of the third quarter. Coming up, the fourth and final quarter when we return to Shreveport.
This two-man huddle is brought to you by Emmitt Smith and his Brutus Mid, who remind you that players are made in the preseason.
I never park up front in a parking lot. That's how door dings happen. The towels bug my wife. She calls me a tightwad, but I'm not a tightwad. I just don't want to scratch the upholstery. You know, if people took care of their cars, they wouldn't have to keep buying new ones.
Pure oil now.
I change my own oil and use Purelator filters.
Pure oil later.
Have to watch the dog up there. Tell
Legends live on Purelator.
Oh, look, a nickel.
On my side, yes it is. Time is on my side.
At 5:01, work time ends and Miller time begins. Because nothing finishes a day like a beer that always finishes smooth. Miller High Life. Your time, Miller time.
This guided missile is brought to you by Ken Norton and his Reebok NFL Pro Line jacket, who remind you that players are made in the preseason.
49-10 as we begin the fourth and final quarter of play from Independence Stadium in Shreveport. Blue Bombers, Reggie Slack incomplete on his first throw of the fourth quarter.
Three-step drop, and just look at the heat that's taking place. The outside linebackers there, that's Johnny Scott, who we've kept talking about all through the course of this game. Both of them having a sack attack meeting in the backfield.
Third and long for Slack. Firing, almost intercepted again. Reggie Carthen had both hands on the football, but couldn't hang on.
I got a feeling Coach Steve Dennis, who handles the secondary of Shreveport, is happy he'll be after this victory. Maybe working on a little bit of tipping ball drills and catching the football at tomorrow's practice or after the film session.
So it continues to be a rough outing for Reggie Slack as he goes to the sideline. New quarterback in the game now for Shreveport, Robert Cobb, 6'3", 210-pound player out of Northeast Louisiana, and on first down they keep it on the ground to the 50-yard line. Junior Smith with the carry. Cobb, this is his first appearance of the season, joined the team mid-season. Last year, played in 10 games, had a concussion in game number 13, and on the year in 94, he was 40 of 93 for 555 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. An academic All-American at Northeast Louisiana. And here he is, throwing up top, and Cobb puts it on the money to Wayne Walker inside the Winnipeg 30. And that's the way to come in there and pitch the football.
This offensive line, they've been blocking for Billy Joe Tolliver. They're doing the same thing for Robert Cobb. Little shake and bake again at the line of scrimmage. And that just frees up Wayne Walker as he gets downfield. Perfectly thrown ball, great concentration as he's able to beat Jason Mallett.
Gain of 28, they spotted at the 32. First down, and they run the trap with Junior Smith.
Junior Smith, the ball carrier.
Gus, there's
Bill
some bodies
McCollins
flying
with the
around
tackle.
Yeah, there's some bodies flying around out there and some people that are really hitting out there tonight.
The Olive Garden Italian restaurant.
Robert Cobb in 1993 was the Southland Conference Player of the Year at Northeast Louisiana. He's playing at home here in Shreveport.
Wants to be a lawyer.
On second down, to the far side, complete. Here's Bradford, gets out of the way of one defender. Bradford storming towards the end zone, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds at about the 2. Robert Cobb coming in the game, picking up right where Billy Joe Tolliver left off. And Norman Bradford picks up 30 yards.
Take a look. He's doing a little bit of cheerleading right now. He thinks he's got one. Right at the last minute, Winnipeg comes up with the big play and knocks Bradford out of bounds at about the 2.5 yard line. But he gets that running back matched up one-on-one with the linebacker on the outside, and he got the mismatch he needed, and he thought he had a major.
So Cobb remains perfect in the fourth quarter. They give it to Patton, and Patton will be shy of the goal line. Not much room in the center of the line for him as he goes after yet another rushing touchdown. That'll make it 5 on the evening.
Still believing that they can go off of that right side again, and why shouldn't they be able to? It's worked 3 times for them prior to this. But the reason that it doesn't work that time is that Doug Hawkins, the outside linebacker, makes a great close in off the side and is able to make some contact in the backfield, and Patton just never got those feet moving.
Second and goal to go from the 1. Patton again. This time he gets in. Martin Patton, 5th touchdown of the game, ties a CFL record for rushing touchdowns in one game, number 5. And Martin Patton will take that ball and keep it as a souvenir of this day. His touchdowns match the number on his jersey, 5.
Gives the ball deep to him enough. Now all he has to do is make a couple of cuts, keeps those great eyes up there in the vision to see the offensive line of scrimmage, and just all he has to do is find a little seam, a little crack, a little daylight, and he's in the end zone.
And Bjorn Nittemo continues to nail the extra points, and now the Shreveport Pirates have taken a 56-10.
You want to know how to choose a motor oil? Take a ride to your local garage and see what the mechanic puts into his own car. Fact is, of all the brands of motor oil, more ASC certified master technicians choose Valvoline for use in their own cars and trucks. So before you buy a motor oil for your car, know the one more top mechanics put into theirs. Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics.
% of top athletes polled prefer more carbos. With 33% more carbos than Gatorade, it's Powerade.
Martin Patton, 5 touchdowns. He's rushed for 95 yards this evening, and this will be a day to remember for him.
Well, it'll be a day to remember for this whole Shreveport Pirate team. They went out there and they have collectively played as good a football as you want to see. Great balance offensively. The defense is flying around, stroking people, coming up with interceptions, and the special teams have been superb.
So for Shreveport, after this game, they'll travel to Hamilton next week to take on the Tiger Cats. And after that, they'll face the Ottawa Rough Riders here at Independence Stadium. So there's an opportunity for them, playing against two teams that don't have exceptionally good records, to possibly come up with a couple of wins.
Well, you know, and that's probably some of the thoughts that Winnipeg had coming in here against Shreveport, thinking that 1-4 team may not be that good. But if you close your eyes and go to sleep a little bit, somebody's going to come up and bite you, as Shreveport has done so far tonight. So they'll have to take it pretty seriously.
From the end zone, tackle made at the 5, and you see a bunch of purple jerseys around the football. Shannon Garrett with the tackle.
Shannon Garrett being the return man that bobbled it again. This is about the 3rd or 4th time we've seen, you know, a punt or a kickoff bobbled, and they just can't get their timing together.
So if you're Winnipeg right now, Danny, what do you want to work on from an offensive standpoint?
Well, right now, you've got to go back and try to do some of the basics to get some kind of confidence together in this last 11 minutes of the 4th quarter. It's going to be able to take you into your next game. You just can't just give up and quit. You got to go out there and make something happen.
And Reggie Slack goes down in the end zone. Tackle made by number 96, Ray Savage. And when it rains, it pours. This game has been all Shreveport from the very beginning, and the defense really has led the way for this team. And Ray Savage puts the exclamation point on it right there.
Coach Murphy said yesterday that one thing that really bothered him and he was afraid of was the mobility and the speed of this defensive front four. Plus that Shreveport had some guys in the back end that could cover. Now, so you can see the guys doing their coverage thing in the back, and it forces Reggie to have to pull the ball down a bit. But right at the last minute, Ray Savage comes out of nowhere, just whipping his guys up front and gets a sack and a safety against Reggie Slack.
For Savage, that's his 3rd sack of the year, and familiar name in ACC country, Reggie Savage. Ray Savage, rather.
We have a safety touch score on the play. After the play, objectionable conduct, Winnipeg number 10. 10-yard penalty will apply on the kickoff.
Reggie Slack called for the penalty, obviously out of frustration. And Ray Savage, who came up with the safety and the sack, was a Kodak All-American coming out of the University of Virginia in 1994. Rather, coming out of the University of Virginia. Played 14 games in 1994 with this Shreveport team. Had 27 tackles and 7 sacks. That's his third of the year there.
Gus, so just to explain the penalty situation to you and also the safety. Here they're going to kick the ball off normally from the 35-yard line. But take a look at the penalty right at the last minute. Just out of frustration, Reggie Slack throws the ball down. And I don't know whether I don't think he was really looked like he wasn't throwing it at Ray Savage. The ball didn't hit him. I'm sure as bad a night as unfortunately Reggie has had tonight, I'm sure that he could hit a guy like Ray Savage that close if he wants to throw it. But it looked like he threw the ball on the ground. It bounced up, and the official just caught the end of it and maybe thought there was a little misconduct that was involved. But on the safety touch now, they would normally kick the ball off from the 35-yard line. Now they'll have to kick it off from the 25.
Front four. I said front four. The quad. Coming at you.
Ray Savage saying that, hey, we're not as bad as you thought we were. And he's exactly right.
Ray Savage, Ben Williams, Reggie Rogers, Alex Mash, and Johnny Scott comes in there. Johnny's been all over in the backfield. So these guys have got 5 guys that can get the job done up front.
Another short kick by Westwood. All down at midfield. .58 points, the most in the CFL by one team this season, and obviously, ironically, it comes from a 1-5 squad. So they finally broke loose in a big way.
Well, they kind of allow that gambling here in Louisiana, and if you're a gambling man, you may not have placed that bet, but I can tell you right now, these guys have been tremendously convincing tonight, and it's a matter that it just goes to show you what can happen when things hit on all cylinders and you've got confidence in everybody around you.
Robert Cobb still in the ball game, playing quarterback, and on first down gives it to Junior Smith, who fights ahead, gains about 4 yards on the play.
Junior Smith out of my old alma mater, East Carolina. He's East Carolina's career rushing leader, 37-45, the total number of yards, 16 career 100-yard plus rushing games.
2nd and 6 from the 51-yard line. Cobb going to let it fly and sails this one right over the head of Curtis Mayfield.
You can see he's hitting that chest right there. He said, that's my bad. I had to step there. I had Mayfield wide open. I just let the pass sail on me.
Kind of a unique situation for the fans here in Shreveport. This is the first time they've ever been ahead by this much with this much time remaining. They kind of don't know what to do, whether they should stay or should they leave.
I think it, at 1-5 coming in here with this kind of entertainment, these people are going to stay. They enjoy it. They want to see a rout.
Pirates averaging a little over 15,000 fans per game.
So maybe these 15,000 will go out and tell a few more for next game. And tell you what, they'll have a big crowd when Ottawa comes to town in a few weeks.
Robbie Keane. Ready to send it away. Ken Burris and Alan Boyko back deep. Keane standing at the 40. Beautiful punt by Keane, sending Burris all the way back into his own end zone. And Burris is tackled at the 1. Rod Perry, first man to Burris on special teams, and Cal Murphy can't believe it. His team's down 58-10.
The ESPN Home Video Collection. Awesome plays. Amazing bloopers, hard hits, expert instruction, great racing. The ESPN Home Video Collection. Too many thrills to count. Now available at Best Buy.
This could be your arm. This could be your chest. These could be your shoulders. This could be your thigh. This could be your stomach. This could be your back. This could be your body. This could be the way. The Soliflex Muscle Machine. Call now for a free brochure.
The Shreveport Pirates have turned in a record-setting performance this evening. They've scored 58 points against Winnipeg, which breaks a record. The most points ever scored against the Blue Bombers was 57 when the Baltimore CFLs at that time did it last year, and now Shreveport, they've broken that record as they've scored 58 points against Winnipeg this evening. So how do you rebound from a game like this, Kep?
Well, I think you have to go in there and watch the film. Hopefully you're going to be able to see some mistakes that are out there. There's enough of them made, and you got to correct it. Then you got to put it behind you, what you did this week against Shreveport. You got to go out there, get your confidence back somehow. Reggie Slack and somebody in that locker room has got to take the leadership and the control and help to bring this team closer together just to make sure that nobody's in there pointing fingers.
New man calling the signals now for Winnipeg.
The ball carrier for Winnipeg.
In the game now, playing quarterback Steve Pallure, the former NFL veteran who spent 5 years with the Dallas Cowboys, 3 years with Kansas City. Operating at his own 6-yard line, Pallure passing, complete underneath. This is Alpin, and Alpin goes down. Harold Nash, nice tackle at the 10.
Shreveport again, very contented now. Play a soft zone behind. Just don't give up the home run ball. Don't let them take anything deep on you. Play it straight and then react up onto it. Make the tackle as Nash did. Came up and made a good open field tackle. And Nash is not a big guy. He's only about 5'8", 180 pounds out of Southwest Louisiana.
Not enough for the first down. They come up 1 yard short. So Bob Cameron, 5 yards into his own end zone, will send it away. His 9th punt this evening, averaging 39 yards per kick. It's a nice one here. Caught at midfield. Will Covington running the football. He gets up to the 52-yard line.
Return. Kevin Robson on the tackle.
Kevin Robson with the tackle. Lonnie Gleiberman, who is the president of the Shreveport Pirates, a Michigan native, he and his father rather owned the Ottawa Rough Riders for a short time. And they hired Forrest Gregg to lead the way here in Shreveport, and they must be pleased with what they're seeing this evening. Bootleg. Cobb out of bounds at the 45.
Robert Cobb on the bootleg.
Cobb taking advantage of this defense and thinking that he's going to chase everything down and try to take out a little frustrations on the running back Patton. Comes out on the naked bootleg, and then all of a sudden he realizes he's got some company out there, and they chase him down. Picks up about 4 or 5 yards and 6 yards on the play.
Pirates send Will Covington to the far side of the field. Here's Patton, and he's tackled at the 45. Number 77, Stan Mikawaz with the stop.
Stan Mikawaz for the tackle for Winnipeg.
His second tackle this evening.
3rd and 3 or 4 yards, Gus, and then, you know, it's kind of one of those question things. You're up 58-10. Go for it. You're going to give up. If you don't make it, you give up pretty bad field position at the 45-yard line or so. But hopefully that the lead that you have is going to be enough to hold you through the next 6 minutes or 7 minutes.
And the Shreveport left tackle, Ben Jefferson, will be called for illegal procedure. He couldn't get the snap count right.
Procedure on the off. Number 68, Shreveport. Repeat the down.
Rather, Donnell Johnson, number 68.
Take a look just at the bottom of your screen. Tries to get on jump on the ball. It was actually both sides were off. Number 44, K.D. Williams, was trying to get a jump on the ball at the top of it. There's where I thought the penalty was going to come. Now it backs it up and makes it 3rd and about 9, and they decide to kick it.
Boyko at the 10. Steps out of bounds at about the 15-yard line. Ron Perry there to chase him. 6:27 remaining in the 4th quarter, 58-10.
Crunchy, soft, crunchy, soft, crunchy, soft, crunchy, soft.
Why are the 2 biggest, baddest sinners on the planet arguing over tacos when they can have this?
The new double-decker taco from Taco Bell.
Don't stop now.
It's our delicious crunchy taco joined in harmony.
Harmony?
You betcha. With beans and a soft tortilla.
That's big. What do you think?
The double-decker taco. Just 79 cents.
You guys are millionaires. Buy your own. Buy your own. You remember Nick, your son Nick?
That's one like this? Yeah. Just little crazy moves. And they bend your knees, Glenn, outside, inside. I have seen them do it all.
Oh, Joyce, you know you can do it. You say you taught him everything. You know that?
It's a no-look pass. Anybody can do it. Do it again for me, please. Just do that. He would just bounce the ball everywhere. Nicky's nonchalant. Very cool. He said, Ma, I finally did it.
6:27 left in the 4th quarter from Independence Stadium here in Shreveport, Louisiana, and the Pirates are on their way to their 2nd win of the season to go along with 5 losses, while Winnipeg will fall to 2-4 as they were looking to improve 500 on the year. But they will not get that this evening.
Shreveport's only victory so far has come over the Toronto Argonauts 11-10 with a last-second field goal. And both the Winnipeg's victory are both of those are over over Southern teams with Shreveport and San Antonio.
Steve Pallure operating from his own 15. And he gets dumped as he releases the football. Big hit made on the play by Ben Williams. And Pallure, who played in the NFL for over 8 years, probably not used to seeing that kind of pressure coming in the game that soon.
Then makes a little inside move, then he swims outside on the right guard. Miles Garrell is able to get around him and get up in Pallure's face.
Pallure rolling, throwing, incomplete, intended for Alfin. Jonathan Wilson there defensively for the Pirates. And it's interesting how you look at a team like Shreveport, Danny, and see how the success breeds the confidence. They feel like they could probably beat anybody right now.
These guys are willing to battle anybody. You're exactly right. They gave Calgary last week everything that they could handle down in Calgary, and it was a tough battle for them. So now they're starting to get a few people back into their lineup, and they're starting to get a few people probably playing the way that Forrest Gregg would like and probably anticipated
seeing them play.
Last week they lost to the Stampeders 27-19 at McMahon Stadium. Here's Covington fielding the punt on the run. Will Covington goes down at the 44. Dangerous way to receive the punt there. Tackle made by Brandon Rogers.
Gus, some of the times that's the big difference up here too with the CFL. You'll see a lot of punt returners taking those chances to try to get down the field. And they'll catch the ball in a crowd, because if the crowd's there, it has to be the coverage team. And we're going to see a lot of shots being taken here. And that's Brendan Rogers, one of the top special team guys on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Figures if I'm going to chase somebody all the way down the field, I'm going to hit somebody. It may be you in the back, then I'll find the ball carrier.
Cobb from the Winnipeg 43. Here's back. Dances out of trouble, but barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. Number 99, Bill McCollins with the tackle.
Gus, just quickly, just to finish the thought on that, when you see those punt returners coming up there and taking chances, they're anticipating that if that coverage team is down there close enough for them, it's supposed to be a no yards penalty. So even if they fumble the ball, it still returns to possession for them.
No gain, 2nd and 10. Cobb letting it fly down the far sideline. Incomplete. Curtis Mayfield trying to beat Shannon Garrett deep. And Cobb overthrows him.
Three-step drop, a lot of heat coming up front. Halfback blitz. That's Ken Burris that comes right at the last minute, gets a shot. In the back, he's had a tough day at the office tonight.
Robbie Keane in to send it away again.
Now for the Circle K catch of the game, awarded tonight to Curtis Mayfield, who just won a general supply of gas.
Alan Boyko standing at the 10.
Robbie Keane has just been booming punts all night long. It has made it very tough, even for Reggie Slack and any of these guys, offensive guys. They are starting so deep in their own territory.
Time clock violation called against Shreveport. Will give Keane a little bit more room to work with as Tim punts this one away.
Tim Phillips was late coming onto the field, and rather than getting a punt block, they just took a 5-yard penalty. Little story about Tim Phillips after this play.
Keane angles it out of bounds, and the official is still walking, and they'll spot it at the 27.
Gus just talking about Kim Phillips real quickly. A kind of funny story is Kim Phillips used to play defensive back last year with Winnipeg. This year he started off with Calgary, and he was released by Calgary. And as he was flying home, he was stopped at the Dallas airport. And as he was stopped at the Dallas airport, so was the Shreveport team that was coming through there. And the next thing you know, Kim Phillips is having a conversation with Rusty Russell, the defensive coordinator. They had a cup of coffee together, and the next thing you know, he's got a job with the Shreveport Pirates.
They say timing is everything. Here's Pallure, complete to Fred Ward, and Ward hangs on to the football despite taking a lick. Good reception there. Pallure, a veteran. You may see him a little bit more as time goes on in the offense for Winnipeg.
Well, you certainly may. I tell you what, if he's going to give Reggie Slack every bit of time to see if he's able to do it, and if he's not able to make anything happen offensively, then he certainly can't just die with him. He's got a couple of young quarterbacks there, Terry Dean and also Steve Pallure, that have a chance to hopefully get in there and make something happen.
Pallure was the offensive player of the year for the Washington Huskies his senior year at Washington. That year they won the Rose Bowl as well over Michigan. Billy Joe, good game for him, and he can put the baseball cap on and relax a little bit and think about next week. against Hamilton. Second down from the 46. Over the head, and it's intercepted. Eldonta Osborne still on his feet. Osborne running and finally tackled at the Winnipeg 32-yard line. Eldonta Osborne, his first interception of the year, and Shreveport, they can do no wrong. 2:59 left, 58-10.
The Canadian Football League 1995 Facts, Figures, and Records book. It's your source for the landmark plays, the vital stats, the award-winning players, the complete rules, and the outstanding performances all the way to the Grey Cup. To order your copy, call 1-800-626-4330.
Grandpa, do you remember your first Pepsi?
1926 at Homer's General Store. Pepsi number 2, cheap seats. Wrigley Field. Pepsi 812, the stock market crash. Pepsi 3922, Spam was invented. 14,030, your dad repeated 3rd grade. And this is Pepsi 21,004, Kathy.
Kelly.
Kelly?
Kelly.
I knew that. I think I knew that.
58-10 as we wrap up this ball game from Shreveport. Cal Murphy forced to just watch from the sidelines. His hands are tied, and I'm sure he's going to definitely, with the look that he has on his face, give this team a tongue lashing when it's over.
Well, it's going to be a tough day, but you got to watch the film, get on with it, because they got to play Birmingham on August the 12th, and then they come out. They got a big promotion going on August the 18th for the BC Lions at the Grey Cup champion, and there's going to be the thing they call the Big Blue Family Night.
And here's the interception by Eldonta Osborne, who's had a really outstanding game.
Tell you what, those middle linebackers don't get a chance to run with the ball too much, but when they do, they will all think they're Heisman Trophy winners at fullback or tailback.
1st and 10 from the Winnipeg 31 for Cobb. Here's Smith bursting through the middle, headed for the end zone. Junior Smith, touchdown Shreveport. And like a flash, Junior Smith was through the defensive line and into the secondary for the score.
What a tremendous burst of speed by this young back. Gets a little bit of block up front. That's Terry Beaufort that makes the opening hole there, and he's got great speed. The youngster out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, gets the ball into the end zone for another major for the Shreveport Pirates.
And that's another big block delivered by Mike Stowell, the center, and John Heidenreich, the right guard, and gave little Junior Smith plenty of room to get through the hole and get into the secondary. 64-10.
They're just waiting right now. They've only got 10, 11 people out there. They're waiting for a 12th guy to come on the field.
And this will be a time count violation against the Pirates as Ron Perry jogs back onto the football field. Junior Smith showed his speed, and so far in this game, he showed his versatility, catching balls out of the backfield and running the football as well.
But Gus, you mentioned it earlier about winning and how contagious an atmosphere it is. You see the guys on the sideline, they haven't had a lot of opportunity for that kind of stuff this year, and it will really be contagious along for the Shreveport Pirates. Look at that. They're hugging, they're happy, they're having a great time tonight.
31-yard touchdown by Junior Smith, and the Pirates take a 65-10 lead with 2:45 left.
I'm only joking, Gus, but we may have to check last year's schedule. They may score as many points in one game tonight as they did all in 1994. Only joking, Shreveport. Don't worry. But we talked about there's some things that have to go back to work right there for Cal Murphy and that Winnipeg team. As I say, they got Birmingham
next week, and then they got the BC Lion Grey Cup champions coming in there, and it's going to be a big family night. They won't have everything in there. Try to get a big crowd going. If any adult pays an adult price for a seat in the blue or gold section, you get to bring in another ticket for just $10. They're going to have block parties and things for the kids. So, you know, it's the kind of thing, it's easy to support the teams when they're winning, but when they're down a little bit, come out there and buy a seat and get in the stands, because there's nothing more motivational than a lot of noise.
So the faithful fans of the Pirates are still here, and they're still standing and cheering their club as they are going on to their second win of the season. Maybe a breakthrough game for them.
Well, I mean, you have to think, I mean, when they beat Toronto on a last-second field goal, 11-10, but then to come in here and to beat Winnipeg with such a convincing effort tonight, it is the best thing that can happen.
Association, baby.
Uh-oh. Billy tells me he wants to support that celebrity golf. He says when he's not playing football and swinging, he likes to work on that golf stroke of his.
Here's Fred Ward at the 10. Ward breaks through at the 50, has to beat Nitmo, and he does. Fred Ward down the sideline and finally tackled hard by Fred Montgomery inside the 30, and a flag is thrown on the play.
Tackled by Fred Montgomery. There is a flag on the play.
Just a little unnecessary roughness on Freddie Montgomery once he makes the break and makes the tackle there. This is what happened. Now you feel the ball. Now you got the timing together.
Unnecessary roughness against Shreveport, number 4. First down.
70-yard return by Ward, and the unnecessary roughness penalty will mark the ball on the 15.
Fred Ward stepping out of bounds, and Montgomery figures, I've chased him this far down there. We got to get him down on the ground somehow, and he gets an additional 15 yards tacked onto it.
Fred Ward splits out wide to the far side of the field. Looking backside to David Williams, and incomplete. Terry Dean in the game now for Winnipeg. On the year, Dean, 2 of 12 for 16 yards, played for Steve Spurrier and the University of Florida last year. One of the most successful offenses in college football. Dean again throwing in the end zone. Incomplete, but there will be a flag thrown. Defensive pass interference against the Pirates. Dean goes down hard.
Greg Stuman comes on a blitz from the middle linebacking position and just absolutely rocks Terry Dean. Very fortunately for the Winnipeg team, they were able to get a pass interference call in the end zone.
Forward pass interference. Shreveport, number 24. First down.
Joe Fuller, call for interference. Starting left halfback.
Joe Fuller, he goes up with the right hand, but the left hand that you don't see that's hanging on to the left shoulder of the Winnipeg receiver, and it's called and sets it up first and goal number 1.
Terry Dean going straight ahead, and he gets in there for the touchdown.
Terry Dean takes it over on the quarterback.
And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have scored their second touchdown of the game, their first rushing touchdown. It's now 65-16.
Gus, even though the clock stops after every play in the last 3 minutes of the game, I've seen some great comebacks in the CFL, having been around here in 10 or 15 years. I don't think that Winnipeg has a chance, but what they're doing right now is they're working on some things to build some confidence to take into next week against Birmingham.
Extra point is good by Troy Westwood, and with 2 minutes and 21 seconds left, Winnipeg still giving it the professional effort as Terry Dean sneaks in from 1 yard out.
Terry Dean knows for a fact he's going to go off that right side on the quarterback sneak. The guard is Miles Garrell, 6'8", 330. And the tackle is Chris Walby, 6'7", about 335. That kind of sums it up. They're coming around. It took them a while, but they have started to gel some things, and you can see some real positive things going on with this Shreveport team tonight.
In the first half, the storyline was the ability for the Pirates to use Martin Patton running the football as he broke off 3 very big runs, including a 48-yarder. They kind of set the tone early for this one. And he has gone on to pick up 5 rushing touchdowns. And the Pirate defense put plenty of pressure on Reggie Slack and company. And they'll celebrate after this one.
Shreveport anticipating the short onside kick again.
Curtis Mayfield down at the 45. Katie Williams with the tackle. Got a penalty flag on the field at the 37. Take a look at Independence Stadium, and they've done some work to the field. They resodded both sidelines as well as the end zones. The field gets a lot of work, high school games as well as some college games, and now the Pirates of the Canadian Football League, this is their second year playing. Pretty nice grass, and they keep it up very well.
It's a terrific stadium to play in, and we've been very fortunate because they were anticipating getting some of that remnants of the hurricane to come through here, and it's kind of held off, and the weather has been obviously very hot and very humid.
Used to seat over 55,000, but now only seats about 43. Here's Pat. At midfield, finally hauled down. Charlie Clemens with the tackle.
Marvin Patton having a wonderful time as far as being able to make a lot of things happen, put a few stats on the board at the end part of this game, because there's nothing tougher about playing defense is when you're getting really soundly beat and you're having to chase around a guy that's got some great speed like a Patton.
And here's Smith bouncing off tacklers. He looked like a younger version of Mike Pinball Clemens right there. Not stopping on initial contact, and he picks up about 6 yards.
Good leg drive and good effort there, and take a good look over at Coach Forrest Gregg, and the one in the white shirt on the left there, that's Joe Barnes. Great quarterback in his own right with the Toronto Argonauts, the Montreal Alouettes.
Smith again through the middle. Stopped at the 41.
Junior Smith, the ball carrier. Rob Davidson on the tackle for Winnipeg.
So Junior Smith getting some quality carries here in garbage time.
And if I think I'm correct, that's Coach Gregg's son standing there with the baseball cap on.
Smith around the right side, wrestled to the ground by Charlie Clemens.
Junior Smith, the ball carrier.
59 seconds left in this one.
Said earlier, Coach Gregg's son, that's Forrest Gregg Jr. He coaches the offensive line for his dad, and I would think that may be a tough job. Coaching the offensive line for a father who is an all-pro offensive lineman. You better do it right, son. But obviously tonight, they've done it right.
Smith hit the backfield, get back to the line of scrimmage.
Junior Smith, the ball carrier.
Tackled by Paul Randolph. Ken Burris also there. And the owner and president Mr. Lonnie Gleiberman, Jr., Michigan native. Has to be a happy camper.
I think Father Bernie Lieberman would be pretty happy too, the CEO of this corporation.
And a fumble on the play, and it's recovered by the Blue Bombers with 13 seconds remaining.
Coach Murphy's been around this league for a long time. And he's had some defeats, but this is going to be a tough one for him, and he's really going to have a hard time getting these guys back together. But if it can be done, I've got pure faith in Coach Murphy of his ability to gather this team up and bond them back together so that they can have a good outing against Birmingham next week.
Terry Dean at quarterback, 13 seconds left, and he's going to put it up in the air to the far side, complete. This is Ward out of bounds at the 45. 6 seconds left. Fans will leave Independence Stadium with a good feeling as the Pirates have come up with a convincing win over Winnipeg for their second win of the year. Here's Terry Dean running the football. This will be the last play of the game. And Terry Dean is stopped by Eldonta Osborne, and that is how it'll end as the Shreveport Pirates have gone on to beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 65-17. Stay with us. We'll wrap this one up right after this.
At Pep Boys, save $40 on our premium brake service. Our ASE certified technicians will install Raybestos lifetime brakes for only $59.99 after rebate. Get lifetime brakes installed for only $59.99 at Pep Boys now. Now at Pep Boys, get any 4 of our 35,000-mile all-season steel-belted tires at an incredible low $109. That's right, any 75 or 80 series, any 4, just $109 at Pep Boys now.